talked to. I keep wanting to call him an arms dealer, but like the security consultant. And Jericho brought Quentin back, very drunk. Jericho was probably a little drunk himself, and Jericho was furiously like scribbling notes and things. So is it that night when we were talking, or is it like the next day?
You can decide.
It was actually 2 hours.
Yeah, so probably the next day, the next morning, Jericho is awake and he has a big cup of calf in front of him, and he's probably got like 2 or 3 of them, and he looks hungover, but it looks like he's at least like had a shower, but he's sitting there on his data slate, like still typing things in, and Levelin's not here. Perhaps making notes of the discussion that he and Levelin had the previous night or something like that. And, he's sitting there and he's obviously like planning something or writing something. And he's dressed as he usually is, but he doesn't have his long coat on. So he's dressed more just in like the normal black shirt that he wears, and he's got his crimson scarf, which is almost always around his neck, but it's loosened a little bit enough that you can see the scars of the hanging that he almost experienced. And he's got a glow stick just drooping from his lips, and he is working furiously.
Awesome. Sitting there looking out the windows. What day is it? Have you waited until the next day?
Yeah, I figured it's probably the next day, so that
cool.
Everybody is dealing with hangovers but not being drunk.
And as you're looking out the gigantic, massive windows, you're sort of leaning down a little bit. The windows are tilted slightly forward. Leaning down, you can just see the clouds stretching forever forward. The glittering sun reflecting in the ocean. It's just coming up and it's throwing this dim, yellow-orangey, soothing light through the window. And it's sort of glittering on the walls that are covered in gold and white tiles. The grey wall-to-wall carpet is sort of covered in a little dirt from your boots, and it's very clean in here. The furniture is beautiful, very ornate, carved, and on one of the chairs is Quentin.
So, Quentin, amazingly, was the first person up, and as Jericho kind of came in and made his calf, he notices the quote-unquote rogue captain kind of just almost sitting there in almost a meditative state. He's looking forward, but his eyes are kind of just distant, and his chest just kind of rises and falls. And you're kind of amazed that he looks so sober and so calm, considering the state he was last night as he stumbled in. And he drank more alcohol than a man should ever drink in one night. But he seems completely fine, other than you notice his hair's maybe a bit more disheveled than it used to be. But like you, he seems to have cleaned himself up, and he sat in his rogue trader coat, long, deep blue, and it kind of just trails off him, still looking clean and free of any spots of dirt that he managed to avoid during the party. And he's not wearing his Tempestus armor, but instead he's just wearing a simple white shirt and some slacks, with no boots on, his feet just kind of hanging a little bit in the air. And as you kind of tap away on your data slate, he just takes a deep breath and looks over at you. Well, please tell me you remembered last night.
I do, although I don't remember everything that Llewellyn tried to tell me. I think she was speaking Orc sometimes. I don't know.
I don't know. Every day she talks, she sounds like she's speaking Orcish to me.
Yeah, me too.
Nice. You both get an inspiration point. And Ross, where are you?
As I said in chat, I think I kinda supposed to do at least a little bit of reconnaissance to have any actual, purpose during last 10 hours or something.
Sure, we can do that. So you're going down into the basement. This is the last night. We're turning back time a little bit. And as you come down into the lobby, you see this huge area, like imagine like an airport almost. That's the size of it. Beautiful stone tiles, bright lumen globes everywhere, and a few hovering servo skulls near the ceiling.
Okay,
Mostly
I imagine we
metallic
were
tiles.
trying to sneak with the other guy that's so good at it that I can't see him anymore. Like he's not even here.
Yeah, he literally disappeared, and then you sort of lose track of him. And you see a large metallic elevator to the far left of the hallway, a large corridor leading to a separate lobby next to it, and an exquisite lounge area lit up by multicolored lumen sources hanging like branches from the ceiling. There's also a small bar to the far left of the massive hall, and right in front of you is the reception area with some uniformed staff. There are also some cogitators that are unusually clean and polished, though the attempts to paint the cogs and levers hasn't really worked. They stick out like a sore thumb. And next to the reception area, you see an elevator that looks very fortified. What do you do?
Very fortified.
Thick metal surfaces. You've never seen anyone use it. That's the only sort of mysterious entrance in this room.
Didn't we see someone use it in
I
like
think you've
a
seen
long
it
time ago, yesterday or
once,
something?
maybe once. Yeah.
Oh right. So they're probably using it only when they're changing guards.
So Ross is sort of leaning next to one of the walls. Do you want to hide or do you want to seem inconspicuous?
I probably want to hide using my how it's called, this,
The stuff.
yeah, and
Yeah.
also my new and cool thermal optic camouflaging thingy that I've named, forgot
Cool.
what it was called.
So I think you
Camelon.
can basically meld with the walls to look like the
Oh,
walls.
Camelon.
Yeah.
Camelon.
Yeah. So you can do a stealth test with a +10. There's a lot of cameras there, a lot of surveillance, but you're trying to just stick to the walls. The lobby is very quiet right now. There's just the occasional echo of footsteps on the stone tiles.
Okay, I couldn't fail it actually.
So Ross, you lean up to one of the walls and you activate, or it's already active and you can see so the tiles being the same color as your chest when you lean over. And as you move to the side, you know that no one can see you. As you stay there for a little while, you... how long do you want to wait there?
Probably not more than an hour.
Gotcha. Let me roll a little dice here. Okay. So you wait for the full hour when you see a face that you've seen before. Rico Duelis steps in and he starts talking to someone in the reception. He is the second in command of security. Overweight, lost most of the head on his hair, and is sort of wobbling in from outside over to the reception area. He has a tired expression on his face. He's wearing the Avery security uniform with no flak cloak. He stands there and talks for a little while, turns around. The room is barely lit right now, most of the light is turned off. And he sort of turns around, stands next to the elevator for a little while. Do you want to do anything in particular?
Well, I probably don't want to smile and wave at our friend, although I do remember him. So just wait for him to enter the elevator and tail him in.
Hmm. He actually stands right next to it, and he seems to be fiddling with something and pulling something out of inside his coat.
Oh no.
However,
Extra.
as he does that, he sort of pats both of the sides, and then it looks like he's forgotten something. He looks at the floor very quickly, and then marches out again.
God damn it. So I don't know what to do right now, so I think I'll just wait till he gets whatever he needs to. I hope he left it in the car.
So this scene is basically Ross standing up against the wall, just totally quietly, like an owl, slowly tilting the head back and forth to see what's going on in here.
And being extremely bored after like 1 hour. And then suddenly this guy appears, and Ross thinks, finally, there is the key to my mission. And he's like, oh, I don't have the thing, and he left.
So, what you see is Askellios, this long-haired, he has long platinum hair. He looks frizzled and lifeless. He comes in as the door slowly opens, and you can hear the echo of his footsteps on the tiles as he walks over to the stairs.
Wait, Zealous? Was that the guy? Which
That's
one?
the guy I had at the party.
Okay, the party guy. I think I actually never seen him. Gross never seen him at all. The
Okay.
party guy.
Well, that's his description at least.
Okay.
You also see something a little bit more interesting later in the night. It looks to be a new visitor, or at least someone you haven't seen before. It is a huge entourage of men wearing black and brown cloaks. And as they enter the hallway, you see that they're carrying a disc. So it's large enough. Imagine like a flying saucer, but without the top. And it's metallic and rounded off at the corners, circular. And there are at least 10 people carrying this huge thing.
The big pot.
Yeah, and inside you barely see the head of this mangled mess of a man. You can see that he's grossly overweight just from what you're seeing from here. Large warts on his face, and he's seated in this around this, carried by his servants. He has messy red hair, and he has a very dark expression, sort of tilting his head to stare at the servants right or left.
That sounds interesting. I probably should take pictures and ask my intelligent and well-read friend later about the man.
And as he comes closer, you can do an awareness check.
Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, I absolutely failed that.
Cool. So he steps into the elevator and disappears, and you're left standing there. After a long time. Did you want to skip until the morning? Did you just want to stand there the whole fucking night? Like, you feel you have to go to, you know what?
Go and cry a little.
No, you have to go to the toilet, but it's like duty first.
Great.
So you're looking around. Finally.
How the hell?
Finally, the guy comes back, walks over to the elevator, and you see that he pulls something out, moves it near something, and then does something with his hand. The elevator opens, and he steps inside.
Yeah, I really wanted to actually capture the picture of the key card, so...
Cool.
Can I have that?
Yes.
Yay.
So, I'm gonna leave it open to you what kind of skill you want to use to do this. So,
Oh, that sounds hard. I
you
don't know
want to
what-
zoom in, and basically let's say you're holding this thing, right, and you want to hold it steady to film this thing. Ballistics, maybe. Sounds.
I would actually say sleight of hand because she's trying to do it surreptitiously, right?
She's invisible though. What was that, Carl?
I was going to say sleight of hand or scrutiny.
Yeah, she's actually invisible, so she doesn't need to do any sleight of hand. And scrutiny is for looking through information and sorting through
I
information.
don't need to understand it.
So you can do
well-
either an awareness or ballistic. You can choose.
That sounds great. I'll do the ballistic.
Cool. So this is you aiming at an exact point, trying to keep it steady, and you're basically trying to film whatever he's doing, right?
Alright, is this like a hard test or easy test?
So this is going to be a challenging test.
So
+0.
+0. I fucking failed making a photo.
Oh wow.
You get an inspiration point at the beginning of the session. You can use it. So this is
Ah, close.
Ross. Your film is mangled as you're like tilting
no,
up and down.
it's perfect. It's just like
No.
my thumb for a one.
Of course. You put your thumb in front, and when you look at you play it back, you're like, damn, God, your thumb was
It
right
happens sometimes.
Man
Yeah.
manages to catch the very delicate details of your thumbprint.
there. And so, unfortunately, when you lift up the camera and look at the recording, you do see kind of what he was doing, but it's not enough to
Reproduce it.
replicate it.
So can I still follow him through the elevation? I hope it's easier to get back up.
This is in the opposite side of the hall. You're gonna have to basically sneak across, but you can do it if you want.
I thought it was kinda closer. No, I think I can manage.
You can manage. All right. So
So
you-
what should I test for that?
all right. You can do a stealth test, and you can do this with -10. This is a hard test, even though it's dark.
Come on, Ross.
Even though it's dark.
Come on, Ross.
It's really hard to fail that, but it's
Ross,
possible.
you sneak down near the floor. Tell us what it looks like when you sneak across the stone tiles.
Well,
I actually thought that I am pressed against the same wall as the elevator was. So, in my head, I was just trying to, reduce it's called the proximity between me and the elevator, and just try to, move along the wall real quick.
Yes, and you do so. And just as the receptionist turns around, you slither down to the ground like a lizard, and you're just crawling across the ground. Your back making the same shape as the wall behind you. As you come up to the elevator, you see that it's still open, and he is standing at the other end of it. This is a huge, imagine like a cargo elevator, huge, lots of space, right? And he's standing in one corner of it. There's a very dim lumen globe in the ceiling, throwing this reddish light. What do you want to do?
Oh, I probably want to crouch in the opposite corner of this elevator. If there is no important buttons there, of course.
Gotcha. Alright. So you sneak in. You want to stay there while the elevator door closes.
Yes, I want to
All
go
right.
where the guy is going.
Okay. I'm gonna do a check to see if he discovers you. He does not. He basically...
Half a minute 30 to discover it.
He stands there and looking around. He's very preoccupied with looking into his data slate, and is sort of shifting through something, groaning, and he seems very upset. And he's leaning one hand on the wall next to the elevator door as he's looking on the ground, and you can see him breathing heavily. And then finally it stops, screeches to a halt, and he exits. What do you do?
I follow him through. Not so far, because I don't want to trigger something.
You see dark metal hallways leading to huge doors with keypads on them. You can see people and servitors walking around through a tinted window. You see lots and lots of armored soldiers and mechanical arms, moving holographic symbols, bright monitors covering the walls. And these corridors just go on forever. What do
Okay,
you do?
how long have I was descending here? Was it one floor or is it a bunker?
It's taken about 2 minutes. It's far underground.
So it's very slow elevator or a very...
It's both. Far underground and a slow elevator.
Alright. So Ross will probably try to take footage of those, of the bunker. It's like everything is in high or low Gothic and easily readable by people.
Yeah, you can basically read anything. And, looking through the windows, you can't really make out any minor details because they're tinted, as I said. But you can see this huge machinery, people moving around, monitors everywhere. Do you want to lean up to the window and just take pictures, move through the area?
Yes, I probably want to do exactly that. And then...
Cool. So right now, as you pass a corner, you see that you're gonna have to climb into this whole place to get in further. Do you want to do that?
Wait. I can't just take footage through the tinted glass
Yes,
windows.
but there's a very
Right.
limited place where you're sort of trying to take pictures through this large room, and the glass window are tinted. You can move further in, but the reason I said you have to climb up, and I forgot to say this, is that there are 2 guards standing on opposite sides of each other, and the hallway is brightly lit, leading further in. There is, however, an area above you, several pipelines and wires and platforms leading in.
Alright, that sounds like the only chance to make me useful. So Ross activates her stammer and proceeds to climb on the walls.
Alright, so you're just like looking through the tinted glass. You can see that you're not going to be able to take any, get any important intel here. You climb up on the ledge and sort of try to jump up to one of the higher ledges. I want you to do an athletics test.
Oh no. Can be at least acrobatics.
Ross jumping to a ledge, literally a cat.
No, but
Yes.
Just a random.
Can it be
equals
acrobatics?
yes.
Yes. You can take an acrobatics -10.
It doesn't matter, it's still slightly better.
Alright.
Oh, I actually succeeded.
Ross, you lean up against the wall and using your excellent climbing abilities, you just take one step after another, and finally you find yourself sort of on these thick beams leading further in. And I want you to roll a d5.
Oh. Well,
It was like plastic.
Alright. It's not plastic, but as you sort of pass the corner and try to get further in, you look down and this area is brightly lit. You see one of the guards pull up an object, and then he sort of leans up against the wall, and you can see one of his hands shaking slightly. He's standing alone. You're in a corridor alone with him. You got a little bit further down, but he seems to be reacting to something, and then he immediately like jolts, looks down at the ground, and it looks like he's about to run. What do you do?
Oh no, have I startled him somehow? Have I forgot about having a shadow?
You can do a
Basically.
stealth test -30.
pretend to be a cat. It might work.
It just went.
Just my imagination.
Yeah, typical fucking action game. What was that? And then he just stands there.
There's someone sneaking around here.
Yeah. What is that? Perfect Dark?
I don't know.
Let's go.
Is that
Nice.
-30?
Yes, it's -30, but I said I activated my stammer, which gave me +30. So it was just in time for not failing.
Jesus.
Still, 2 degrees of success on a -30 roll. That's not bad.
Ross, you are literally like a lizard up here, just slithering past on the side of these walls. Looking down, you can see that the guard sort of does his usual procedure. he jumps slightly to the side. He looks up, activates a light, and he's just shining the light up, like back and forth, walking back and forth. He looks like he's picking up some kind of Vox device and talking for a few seconds, walking back and forth, and he keeps shining the light up there, and you're just frozen behind the ledge, and you slither further. You can do another d5.
I heard like in the four more, it's going to be one.
It's getting better eventually.
It couldn't get worse.
So as you sneak past some of the picked thieves up here, which is the cameras, you can hear 2 guards approaching on patrol from either side of the corridors. You need to either run or hide. You can do an athletics -10 or stealth -30.
Oh, actually, I think hiding sounds easier to do.
Oh, yeah, the
Because I
target
don't even know where should I run, so yeah, definitely hiding.
So this is
Minus
a
Fred.
brightly lit hall. No normal human could ever hide in here.
Well,
That's,
yeah, but I normally I do wear the actual
line.
yeah, the camera light, so it's kind of a predator effect more than just a random person sitting on top of the stuff. So perhaps if I won't move,
yeah,
they might ignore it.
without that, you would be definitely be detected. So go ahead and roll a -30. Stealth.
Sound, you say, movement. Kind of. Well, I've always wondered what that actually. So if someone walked into an area where a stummer's active, like, would they notice the sound changing?
Are you doing the roll, Ross?
Yes.
Excellent.
Oh.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, so Ross, how does this look? You are virtually invisible up there. Why?
Well, I guess just because I proceed very cautiously and I have the shit ton of gadgets to keep me invisible.
You're like clicking various buttons, you're pulling up your suit and leaning against the wall, and by the time you're done, you are completely hidden. You can do another
She
d5.
is Sam Fisher.
I'm what?
Sam Fisher, a character from a video game.
Okay. Please don't fail again.
Don't confuse her, Carl.
Oh, yes.
Ross, you're skipping across the side beam in this hallway, and it is barely thick enough. This is like walking on a line, you know? There's nothing to step on. Yeah, tightrope. And as you sort of jump over the last part, completely silently, you find yourself through into the main room that you were looking into through the tinted glass. And you're standing on top of a ledge, sort of above a metal grid, looking down.
And
What do you do? You see people moving around, guards, there are monitors everywhere, and these arms, mechanical arms, moving around, rearranging and moving various parts.
Is it a factory of some sort?
Not at all. This looks like some kind of command center.
So what the mechanical arms are actually doing? Or it's like security?
It seems to be just automated tasks.
Like bringing coffee.
Monotask servitors walking around, doing repeating tasks again and again. And there are just a few guards there. Most of this place is automated. What do you want to do?
Alright, so I probably want to take footage of something I seem to notice so important that I climb up all the way up here instead of just living in front of the glass. And
Alright.
do I see something particularly worth stealing, like loose data slates or
Okay, so
cards?
first of all, you just want to observe, you just want to look around. You're
Yes.
sneaking along the edge, and as you come over this one guard sitting on a chair, it is a female guard. She's sitting there, she's wearing a tight, almost bodysuit. It looks to be slightly armored, and she has a holster with a gun. She's leaning down, and she's talking to someone standing next to her. You can do an awareness test to overhear the conversation.
Oh god. So bad at all those stuff. It failed horribly.
What I love about your character, Kit, is that she's a brilliant stealth assassin. She's like brilliantly stealthy, but she's deaf as a post.
Yes.
Okay,
and
you hear the name Amancia. That is all you pick up. Amancia.
Alright, is there anything else I can do here? Can
And also something about reserve and Romancia. You sort of stay there, look at the monitors for a little while, and you have a little window where you can sneak down and access one of these machines that are turned on. The corner of the room that you're standing in is empty. The guards have all left.
Okay.
Do you want to try it? By the way, I'm gonna warn that this entire thing is very risky. You being here, I mean. But you know that.
I probably don't know what I'm looking for in case if I could access the terminal. So I probably would like to do something simple. Still looking for the keycards or passwords or something like that. Unless this terminal is the answer to my password question.
Exactly. Okay, so looking at one of the monitors, you can do linguistics +10. The screen is flickering fast. You have to read the text really, really fast.
Oh god, I wouldn't do this anyway. Half intelligence. How do you roll for half?
Half? Why half?
Because I don't have the skill, so.
Oh, you're -20. Okay, so it's -10 effectively. Just roll for it, and we'll reduce that.
Roll for just clear.
Mm.
Okay, that would be fail.
Yep, unfortunately. What you do manage to see is that the employee or whoever this person is using some form of login. He has to press a code to log in.
But I couldn't read it
No.
because it was start out.
When you see him turn around, you see that the guy sitting there is actually Rico Duelis himself.
Oh. Alright. So as I see it now, I'm afraid that there is no way we could transport level 1 here without asking Rico for a favor. And there is nothing I can do more, probably. Because I'm not a friend of Rico. The Jericho is a friend of Rico.
You can stay around. You can. So these are your options. You can sneak down to the ground level and try to interface with one of the machines. You do risk being discovered, but you are extremely stealthy. It's up to you. What do you do?
Can I also make a suggestion?
Of course.
Go for it.
I don't know how long you want to wait, but if you like cause a distraction to get him to leave his terminal, he's probably going to leave it unlocked. Or you could just wait. I mean, those are options too.
I heard that there is at least one unlocked terminal, and Rico is, I think, the only person here, or maybe with some guards.
There are several other guards as well.
Okay. They're guards, so they probably store their passwords in like the top drawer or something. Or maybe they'll go home when it's going to be late at night.
Ross, standing up on the ledge, gets a lot of time to philosophize about this.
Yes, exactly. Alright, so... probably don't want to get discovered. If I get discovered, is there a quick way for me to run away from it?
So you know that in the hallway that you entered through, there are only 2 guards that sort of circle around on patrol. At
I
least
don't
that
want to shoot them up so they wouldn't notice me. So.
at least that you have seen.
Okay. And in this room there is how many people?
In this room there are 4 guards.
Okay, and how big is the room?
It is quite huge. I would say maybe 50 by 75 meters. It snakes into different departments. They sort of leave one, turn around the corner. As I said, it's mostly automated.
Okay, so it's cubicles.
Yeah, this is cubicles, and these are middle managers.
Great.
Does that help you in any way?
A lot. Well, actually, if they are actual cubicles, it would be very easy to sneak past everyone to get to.
So there are
walls.
certain corners, right, where you can interface with the cogitators and stand sort of undisturbed. However, there's always the chance that you're going to make some kind of noise, that you're going to press the wrong thing. You're not that familiar with cogitators. They work in
error noises.
they work in mysterious ways.
Alright. I think I'll try it, and if I fail, I'll just try to run back up.
Okay, so you're slithering down from the wall and you're dropping down on the ground. You can do an acrobatics plus 20.
I didn't expect it to be what I failed. I mean, I
Not-
failed pressing a roll. I don't know what I
Not the
did.
plus sign. Not the plus sign. Just 20.
Okay.
You can use fate to reroll. I just want to point that out.
You got it.
Yeah, I got it.
So you slither down, you walk over to the cogitator, and do you want to try to access it?
Well, I guess it's one of the how it's called, guard workstation.
Yeah.
So
This is the
I
one
assume
Rico
it-
Duelis just
pretty-
left.
so it should be pretty user friendly and easy.
Do a tech use test.
Okay, Just like that?
Challenging.
that is challenging. Minus something, 0.
Minus 0.
Minus 0. I failed. Oh, I probably should reroll it.
So you're standing there. As soon as you
I do have
start
a
to press
chance of-
buttons, do you want to reroll?
It's even worse.
The famous 96 result returns once again. Ross, unfortunately, as you pull one of the levers and the sort of keyboard comes up, rotating, you start typing it very quietly, barely pushing in your fingers. These are mechanical keys. The whole system just seems to lock up, and the screen turns off.
Okay. Am I smart enough to think of it as a silent alarm?
You can do a what was it someone mentioned earlier?
Scrutiny?
Scrutiny, yes.
Okay. Then I think it's fine. I'm just gonna go to another cogitator.
Do a scrutiny test. You get a plus 10.
I like to still.
You don't think you've activated the alarm. However, you do know that this is going to look very suspicious when he comes back.
I don't believe him remembering the way he left his computer. Maybe he should lock it up. Okay.
It's not unknown that strange things happens to cogitators.
That's exactly
but-
what.
Yeah.
Especially when you leave him like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there any one more cogitator that I can try to access before leaving, or
To do
maybe
that,
I should just?
you have
should
to
try
enter
to-
the main room. This is its own little cubicle.
Okay.
You can enter the main hall. It's going to be risky, and you're going to step into the area that is more brightly lit. Sort of these several lumen globes hanging
If
from the
those are
ceiling.
cubicles, couldn't I just go over a wall to
So
the
it's not actually cubicles, to explain it a little bit
Windows.
further. There is a big room. It's a long, big room. And then there are two rooms forming sort of an S shape.
Oh.
Yeah. And you were in one of the small rooms.
Alright, so can I take the long road out, so go back upstairs when I were
Yes.
and just...
Yes, you
Alright,
can.
So that's exactly what I'm planning to do, and I hope I won't destroy our friend's Rico workstation evermore.
Alright. So, climbing up on some of the gear there. You've done this before, you don't need to do a test. You slither up again, and you're
Wait, I
near the
have a
ledge.
great idea. Maybe if he's going to go back here,
Mm.
now I have a chance to look up his password.
Yep. Eventually he comes back, sits down. You can do another linguistics.
Linguistics. Why it's linguistics?
Because we have to use the skill for something.
But I don't have it. Fuck, I
Oh! Whoa! Hey now!
God, really?
Hey now!
I'm
This
always
is a-
getting it like on super
I'm not,
lame tests.
I'm not sure if you're familiar with this, but it's like
I am.
it's like a thing.
But I'm always getting it on something extremely lame.
Ross,
Opening a can. One.
how do you describe this? It's how in the world do you see this tiny text?
I don't know.
You have no idea. That's just you have no freaking idea. It just happens. You squint, and then as you blink, this word just appears in your head. Like
Suddenly, for no reason at all, all
Yeah.
the synapses of your brain
yeah,
once.
exactly.
And for once, you have unlocked places that you have never seen.
There you go.
Sorry, Jim.
No, that's good. That's the way it's gotta be.
Almost have a
Like
stroke.
when that music plays, you really gotta go for it. You know.
Yeah, and I always talk bow because I have no idea what to do with that.
It's all good, Ross. You're blinking once, and you think you have Rico Duelis' login information.
What is his password?
It's just a binary code,
Oh.
and
That's a very lame password when you use only 2 of the available keyboards.
and you remember it. Like as you close your eyes, it just sits there in your memory.
I probably
What do you
should
do?
write it down.
What do you do?
I'll write down the password until I still remember it because I don't have a very good memory.
Cool. So, standing up on the ledge, imagine your back feet are the only thing touching the ledge, and you're leaning back. As you're doing that, any normal person would just fall down. You're pulling out... What are you writing on?
Oh, data slate.
A data slate. And you're typing down the code from what you memorized. You have
It's just like, I hope they don't have like super extra bright screens.
yeah, it's that embarrassing moment. Turn it on, and you're just brightly
Floating
lit.
data slates.
Yeah. Like a fucking torch. No, it's fine. You remember to turn the brightness all the way down on your thing, you know, the slider. So it's as dark as it can get, basically. What do you do, Ross?
Alright, so now I have this great password, so I could access his station whenever I want. But I need to move further. So I'll go to see the other part of this office and hope to find another unattended and unprotected cogitator.
Cool.
Or maybe a keycard this time.
Nothing
I'm
is
moving you
consistent.
guys over to the screen so you can keep track of what's going on.
Yay. Basement. It looks so close, and yet it's so far.
You also realize that each of the security officers has a passworded login. You now have Rico Duelis' login code. Alright,
Nice.
what do you do?
Okay, so I have not found any other unprotected and unsupervised cogitators.
There are several. You can sneak down and interact with them. However, you've seen several of these throughout the building, so you don't think this is the only place to interface with the system.
Through the building, so on the lobby area and somewhere else?
Not the lobby area. You've seen it in the hallways, sort of smaller interfaces. And,
Alright,
and you've
so-
seen the employees, security officer among others, access those.
Alright, so as I understand this information, I can try to do that in a more secluded place than in the middle of the office. Bless you.
Up to you.
Alright, so if this is a chance, if this is enough thing I can do, that I'm going for it. So guess this is like there is nowhere further to explore from here. The only way is
You've
back.
seen all there is to see here.
Yes.
This is basically a huge command center, mostly automated.
Alright. So have I seen like what would be my best case scenario of actually trying to use one of the cogitators? Is it here or somewhere before?
It would be the same as before, where you would have to use one of these corner rooms to access one of the cogitators there. You would have to slither down and hope that no one comes around the corner. It's a little bit of a random chance because it's actually impossible to hear them walking around, and they occasionally walk off from different stations.
They have like carpet everywhere.
Yeah. They
Mhm.
make sure not to make any clicking sounds.
They're wearing slippers.
Yeah, they have.
Big
So
Santa
actually they
slippers.
make a shit ton of electric static.
So what do you do?
Well, perhaps. I would try to try it once more if there is an opening with I don't know, with not
Cool.
a whole lot of people around there.
Okay, so you slither down, you stand up next to the cogitator, and you gotta turn it on now.
Why would I stand with the shut down one? I'm
There is
afraid
not-
it's going to make a very loud boot up noise. I'm not trying that.
Alright. So, what is your goal with accessing this?
Well, probably some general security information. So the thing that probably guys upstairs already have,
Gotcha.
and perhaps some maps for the building.
Okay. So you can do a tech use test. Challenging.
Maybe this time it's not going to be 96.
Oh my god! Are you kidding me? How is that fucking possible? Remember, I told you, never 95. It's always 96. This is crazy.
Calling your shots.
Jeez.
Why have I
What?
said
Looking at like her rolls, it's just like watching a freaking roller coaster ride.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. 96,
50,
you,
96.
random.
74, 37, 99,
No.
60,
Thank you,
83,
RNG.
96, 29, 1, 6.
What do you do, Ross?
Rose have strong urge to hit her head on the
Yeah.
keyboard.
It's like you're good at everything, and as soon as you touch this huge, clunky, wiry lever
Just
things,
Machine spirits just hate me for some
Yeah.
reason.
it's not a fit.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. What do
Okay.
you do, Ross?
I think it's time to wrap things up.
Alright.
And okay, maybe I can just see something important on like a desk board.
By the way,
Maybe
every
they
time
printed out the plans.
you're down here, I do different rolls to see how the guards act. None of them have come around the corner yet and seen you.
Okay.
Do you want to get back up on the ledge?
As I said, I want to see if they have something important on drawers or.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So do you want to go back up?
Not yet. One
Okay.
action and then I go back up.
So you want to look around the corner, basically lean around the corner.
Now I think I'm in the office, so maybe this person accidentally printed out the information I need.
So you want to
Something like that.
look around in the room
Yep.
and see if you find any plans for the building. So looking through the various desks that are there, you sort of pull out drawers. I want you to do a sleight of hand test for not making any sound when you're opening the doors.
Probably would like to take more time and less trying to be fast, but okay. Like, not being spotted is more important than finding something.
Yes.
Here I go, it's fucking 65.
Okay, then I'm gonna do a little roll here.
RNG not favouring you.
So Ross, as you're opening these drawers, you pull out what looks to be a overview of the building. You're sort of looking through folders, and finally you find it. So you see how many floors there are and so on. As you're looking at it, you see a shadow just passing around the corner.
No, Ross is not trying to look and understand anything. She's just trying to pick as many stuff as she can.
Yeah, you're picking it up. As soon as you pick it up, you look around, and he's coming around the corner. You have a couple of seconds to react. What do you do?
Are the drawers closed?
The
Drawers.
the
The
door?
drawers.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
I
so
assume
I
that you
probably
made sure
try
of
to like hide in a corner, and as I have my cloak on, hope that he'll just pass me, and that's not his workstation.
Gotcha. You can do a stealth test -20.
Okay, stop.
I don't have this music from.
4.
Wow, nice. Okay, Ross, you disappear behind one of the desks. Hiding there, you can see the guard's foot sort of tapping, and then it's under the table most of the time, and then it sort of leans it around the corner where you're standing, and literally between your legs, he's tapping his foot, like up and down, and it's barely hitting your chest as you're just hugging the wall. He leans
That's a weird
back.
guy just tapping his foot, looking at the wall.
Yeah, he seems to be a little restless. As he leans back, he stands up and walks off.
Great, now it's time to wrap things up and go home.
Cool. Okay, with that stealth test, you can basically sneak out the same way you came. You look down, the two guards are there. No one seems to have reported anything or seen anything suspicious. As you lean out to the main hall where you see the elevator, you sort of wait until there are no guards there. One guard finally walks off, and you see your moment. Pressing the
Great.
button, I'm doing a few random rolls for you here, so you don't have to.
Alright.
And yes, you step into the elevator, and it starts to go up. And I'm assuming you just want to sneak out the same way that you snuck in here.
Exactly.
Do a stealth test -20.
And then magically appear in my room. Well, I'm always forgetting where the button is.
You should just hover over that stealth button, whatever you're doing. 'Cause it's being used a lot.
Exactly. Okay.
Yes, you
Very
succeed.
bad, but still
You succeed.
useful. Yep.
So, coming back to the room, the rest of you see Ross as the door opens. She's just got this really content smile on her face. What do you look like, Ross?
Okay, so Rose is currently in her stealth cloak and probably some civilian clothes underneath. Probably half of this, how it's called, the Navy uniform. Probably without the cloak, because that would mean that she would wear 2 of them. That's kind of weird. So Rose is like a short woman with long blonde hair and her late 20s. And well, she's really good at stealth, so probably she like comment absolutely without a sound. And she's carrying a folder with floor plans with her.
Yes. And a data slate.
Yes,
And
and wait.
as you enter the room, you sort of softly close it, and the rest of you hear a little tuk-tuk and then you look over and you see Ross standing there with these papers. And
So it's
that's
still
where we
night, so
can...
everyone is asleep and hungover.
No, it's let's say it's early morning. You spent quite a lot of time doing this, Ross.
Just sitting in front of the elevator.
You basically spent the whole freaking night standing in that room waiting for your moment. Then you spent most of the early morning in that security room, and as you finally come up, the sun is coming up, the orange light is glittering through the windows, and that's where we can begin. I'm leaving this session to you, and roleplay, go.
So as Ross's kind of feet pad in and she kind of enters the room, Quentin has already got a glow stick just slipped between his fingers, and the tip is just burning lightly, and you can hear the crickle of the paper as it kind of sets alight. And I'm sure Jericho is still tapping away on his data slate. And as he hears her come in, he kind of just leans back, and his brown eye. Oh, I think they're blue actually now. His blue eyes sweep over to her, and he just raises a single eyebrow. Now I'm hoping you're coming in with some news.
Oh, Ross is like smiling, said, well, yeah, I've got something. Wait, do we have this thingy zone? Can we talk?
We can talk.
Alright, so Ross just comes into like the middle of the room and starts presenting her floor plans, probably just laying out them and like her data slate. She shares the passwords and all the stuff that she picked up.
Excellent. Looking through the floor plans, who of you is most experienced with this sort of thing?
We're floor plans. We don't have any architect.
Yeah, I was gonna say with floor plans. Llewellyn probably.
Quentin,
No, I mean, who's more experienced looking at papers, deciphering
Wait, I actually think
through data, interpreting it?
everyone who is from a hive world has actual skill about floor plans.
Well, either way, Quentin lets Ross kind of
Not
set the
kidding.
floor plans on the table and immediately kind of takes his position up, standing up slowly, flicking the butt of his glow stick as he kind of leans over. And what are you gonna get him to roll, GM?
I have plus 20 to floor plans. I can actually roll that.
Nice. No,
Scrutiny?
you could just do a general intelligence. If you have
I-
appropriate
general
skill,
I
you
thought
can do
it's
that.
more of a navigation because it's maps and navigation.
Oh, yeah,
so
you're
it's
right, it
about
should be
maps.
Navigate surface, that's a good one. Good, Ross.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh god, why are we giving this to Quentin? Well,
Fail.
wait, what? How can it be 0? You must have messed up there.
You must
Yeah.
have pressed something.
I pressed plus.
20.
But I
Never
like my
press the
score.
plus button. That's
Just roll it again so we can see your target. And we'll take the first roll that you did.
There you go.
Oh, so you made it.
So
Yay.
Ross, you put this blueprint on the table. It is a sort of a see-through table, black legs, and as you're interpreting it, you see that the top floor is actually split into two. There are 2 top floors. There's 1 elevator going up. There is this very strong construction around the elevator. And further up you see this incredibly intricate network of security. It's hard to interpret it, and you can just see that there's one area that is blanked out. There's nothing there, and it's in the middle of everything else. It seems to have been omitted from this particular drawing. You can do a security test, any of you. Minus 30.
Security minus 30. Jesus. Well, give this a go.
Hack a floor plan.
Oh my god, my target is.
Jesus.
Actually made it.
6.
Oh wow,
That's-
Jesus Christ.
What?
Ross is on a
Ross.
roll.
Yeah,
You
floor plans are my
are-
thing.
This session is all about you, apparently. Alright. Ross, again. You lean down and you see that the top floor... Let me just light up the right thing for you here. So, the first thing that you see is that there are pict recorders and surveillance systems along every surface of the apex. and that it is connected to the basement.
Alright.
So this is very clearly visible, drawn out. You now even know where these are. You know the exact location of them. Of each camera.
Can I just ask a dumb question? Maybe I missed this, but what is the apex?
Right.
That's
That
a
is
good question.
the top floors.
It's-
They are drawn as the apex. If you look at the hint thing on the top, it says the apex.
I was scrolled down looking in the basement.
No
Okay,
worries.
cool.
Yep. All right, guys, continue. You're in the room, and go.
So, as soon as Ross puts the papers down, Jericho like looks over, and with Jericho and Quentin probably both sitting there smoking, the room's probably got this kind of grayish haze in it. Both of them are
It's basically
probably
like
chain
smoke
smokers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I actually have
Yes,
Jericho
definitely.
listed as a chain smoker. So, there's like this grayish haze in the room, and he looks over and he like turns it one way and then like turns it another one. And then, he looks at Quentin and there's this look in his eyes like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this? And rather than asking any questions, he just starts taking pictures of it with his data slate. And like, maybe it'll be useful. And then when Ross starts explaining things, he actually starts notating in his data slate and continuing on his case files.
Awesome. You get an inspiration point. And
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I was gonna say, at Jericho's kind of look, Quentin just kind of gives a shrug, like, I don't know, why the hell are you looking at me for answer? And he himself, attempts very poorly to understand things, and even as like Ross is explaining what everything is, his fingers are still tracing the maps and still kind of squinting at it, like in some vain hope that he may, like, his brain can kick into gear and can understand everything. But in the end, he kind of just leans back with a look as if he does know, but in reality, he's just listening to Ross. And he kind of just places his hand on the back of his head and he just kind of lets out a breath. Well, after that illuminating piece of information, I guess the next question is, and he kind of sweeps his hand across, where to next, team?
I don't know. I might need some time to look over this. And Jericho's still making notes, but his notes, like if anybody looks over his shoulder at his data slates, he like doesn't know what to call the little things on the floor plan. So he's like, this thing means camera. This thing means laser beam, And he just studies it intricately, but he doesn't seem to have an answer to Quentin's question.
At that point, Quentin kind of just lets out a deep breath.
Oh, come on,
He
guys, those are
slowly-
floor plans. Don't you live in a house or something?
At that point, Quentin kind of lets out a small laugh and he goes, where I'm from, if you had a floor plan, that meant you had an escape route. So trust me, nobody had any floor plans.
How did
And
you build houses then?
That's cute, Kit Kat. Not everyone was born in a house. And he kind of gives her a wink.
So
Before
you
I
lived in a
step-
cave?
You get an inspiration point. Take one.
Before he stands up and kind of walks over to the large glass and just kind of looks out. And his finger kind of traces the shapes of the
How
clouds.
did not live in a
He's never
house?
really seen things like that before. And he ignores Ross kind of just confused and...
There's also
background.
when I'm from, everything is a house.
And he clasps his hands behind his back. And he kind of taps his foot for a second. Well, let's take a moment to think about this. We're here for a key, right? And if we can, to find anyone left from your unit. Now, what have we got? We got a floor plan. We have knowledge of the security infrastructure. But we still don't know where the things we're looking for is. So our next stop
Wow.
is to find that.
So Jericho pulls over the plans for a second and he's like, yeah, but Quentin, look, I can't read these, but it's very weird that there's just a blank space here.
Kind of Quentin
Yeah,
comes over
probably
and looks-
vote, says Ross.
Tears down. Well, you normally scrub off things that are very important, don't you? So
Exactly.
I guess that's our next stop.
Yeah.
Well,
Do you want to do a scrutiny test, Jericho? Is that any point?
You want to do one?
Why would you do that?
Particular for Jericho.
Oh, okay.
Sure, but it's
You-
going to be terrible.
You could
to be
choose
honest.
between, you could choose between that or logic.
When you maybe you will be like there and
I'll
Jesus will
choose
be
scrutiny.
Or minus 10
merciful
intelligence.
upon you.
Let me look at that real quick.
Mhm.
Yeah, so minus 10 intelligence would be my best roll.
Mhm. Ooh,
Nope.
go on. What do you do?
Quentin
So-
kind of. Oh, go on.
So, one thing to note that Ross has kind of mentioned to us is that everything ties back into the basement. So, I think we know what our target is, or I think we know where our target is. But everything tying back in the basement, we have to figure out how to get up into the apex without tripping all of the alarms. We know from talking to, and Jericho, puts a hand to his head and he's like, whatever that guy's name was last night, that if we trip the alarm, then the whole building's going to get locked down. We're going to have to fight servitors, et cetera, et cetera. Not to mention the problem of, if we get caught in the apex, there's still 2 other keys that we have to find. The chances of those being moved, we're going to have to figure that out. Right?
The fact of the matter is, we don't know enough about this place and what goes on here. We don't even know what sort of clientele, if any, end up in the apex. So we got 2 levels of this to do. We need to understand exactly what's in there, and we need to understand how we can get in there. Because while we have our brilliant Kit Kat over here, and he kind of looks over at Ross and kind of gives her another wink and a smirk.
Ross smiles. Like,
We can't just sneak our way into everything. It's
Yeah.
not gonna end.
I totally agree with that. We have to figure out more about the building.
How's about this?
Ross is very unimpressed with last Quentin's quote and said, so what, you're gonna talk the shit out of this vault or something until it's open?
Well, funnily enough, you're gonna talk the shit out the vault, but we're gonna get you by the vault, and we're gonna get you away out of the vault. And that's gonna involve some talking.
Oh, I don't know how to talk to vaults.
You'll learn. At that point, Quentin looks over at Jericho. How's about we split? I go down, you go up. In status, that is.
Wait,
I'm
what,
getting
what?
tired of wearing these clothes. He's kind of pulling at his coat. As for you, Kit Kat, well, you can choose. Want to pretend to be part of a rogue trader, or you want to get down and dirty with your captain?
Wait, what are you going to do, Captain?
I'm gonna go down to the more common area.
Oh, that sounds like a place for me.
What do you think, Jericho?
So Jericho thinks about it for a moment and he says, well, if you mean down to the level where I got the drugs and the booze and all that, I think I made a pretty good impression on Enrique. I also think that he probably deals in a few more criminal things than he might let on. I might be able to convince him a little easier, but I'm more than willing to go along with this, because even if you go downstairs, there's no reason that I can't do it later if we need more information, right?
Well, of course. This is just a start. But before you do go, and at this point Quentin kind of reaches into his jacket, and he goes for one pocket, but then he realizes in his drunken state he hadn't actually put it there, and then for a second you just kind of see him padding all his pockets as he's desperately looking around for where this is. And eventually he reaches down into his trouser leg, and he notices that for some reason he slipped a small data slate in there, and he just kind of shakes his head and pulls it out, and then throws it over at Jericho. I met some... Well, he claimed to be an Imperial Navy captain, but everyone keeps saying that the Imperium is completely aware and this planet is compliant, but something makes me feel like it ain't. So, maybe check him out, see if he actually is here on Imperial business.
Of course, as someone that represents the Senate, that would be a very good thing to do.
Believe it or not, sometimes I actually come up with good ideas. He gives a kind of chuckle, pulls out another low stick, and then drapes his arm over Ross. Right, Kid Kat, you ready to get yourself some alcohol and get on dirty with the commoners?
Oh, I know if I do a whole lot of alcohol, Captain. You're probably better at that. Wait, are you still Captain down there?
At this point, Quentin kind of just pauses for a second, and he kind of lets out. And then he looks over at Jericho. What do you think, Jericho? Shall I remain my regal captain? Shall I shred my outfit?
I would actually stay as the captain. It's not unusual for captains of a rogue trader outfit to want to, let's say, look for new recruits. And doing so in the common areas is not uncommon.
And there's your answer. And at that point, he reaches out, and somewhere along the lines, he's managed to buy himself a little kind of hat that is sort of almost like a captain's hat, and he just pops it on Ross's head, and then gives one last look over at Jericho. Well, good luck.
And to you, Quinn.
Who do you want to go with first, GM?
Alright, guys. Let's go with Jericho first.
Okay.
Jericho, where are you going exactly?
Well, right now I'm in the suite. Jericho will, basically kind of walk around, kind of like wandering aimlessly. He's gonna avoid the common habs. Probably, stop by the lounge, talk to some people there. Nothing serious, but if anybody asks him, his cover story is basically that they drank a lot last night. They went to a party, and he is released from his duties for a little while everybody gets some sleep and kind of recuperates.
Do any kind of fellowship check. Charm is appropriate.
Am I dealing with anyone in particular?
Just do a general one. This is for everyone he meets.
Okay. So 3 degrees of success.
Jericho, as the elevator stops near the lounge area, a woman walks in to the elevator on the floor before the lounge. She has bright white hair and violet eyes. She has a fine physician's uniform on.
Why, hello there. You're looking a bit rough for wear. Care to buy some medical stuff? I got all the good chems.
Thanks. It was just a late night last night, actually. That kind of thing.
I imagine that a vagabond like you can drink some.
Jericho looks interested for a moment, and he's like, yes, I can. Would you care to grab a booth with me, maybe?
I think I have time. Lead the way. You must have a favorite hole by.
I do, actually. And Jericho takes this woman to the lounge, which is where he was already headed. And he steps around and he looks for a private booth. which I'm sure he can find in a place like this.
So-
And he, basically like slides into that. Doesn't offer much conversation before then.
Right. So as you sort of enter the lounge area, you again see these monitors turn on, and you see Aver's face, which I've shown you. And his voice again just beams out into the hallway. Lord Sarawak has entrusted me to serve and please high priority visitors to Aventine. There are similar institutions, yes, but none have the location or quality of the auberge. Please. And then you sort of turn the corner and it disappears. You enter a giant room with stairs leading to several large circular platforms. People mingle and trade, some play regicide on tables, and you see some people leaning over on a bar. You also see the guy being carried by others that I mentioned when Ross was doing the sneaky mission. There are huge windows covering the walls, letting in bright sunlight as people stand there and watch the stunning sunrise. The whole thing looks like it's been drawn by an artist. It's just absolutely stunning. You walk up one of the stairs to one of the platforms and get your own little lounge area. Do you want to play it out or just talk about what you do?
I was actually gonna play it out.
Go for it.
So Jericho, he takes a seat, and he's like, "I hope you don't mind if I smoke. You being a doctor at all, I hope that doesn't offend your sensibilities."
Oh, there are far worse habits to indulge in. In fact, if you can spare it, it's myself.
Of course. Jericho hands over a glow stick, and you can see that the pack is almost full, but several have already been smoked. And he sits back and he lights it, crosses his legs, and he looks at the woman across from him very carefully. And he says, it's unusual to meet a doctor wandering around in Avar Aubrage. Are you associated with anyone?
The woman very gratefully allows light and takes a long drag on the low for just sort of holding it in her hand and sort of looking at it, playing it through her fingers. Yeah, fine taste. Habits, I must admit, some very nice sticks. My services are widely sought out. I currently work with a noble house of some repute, looking after aging members. You know how these noble houses are. They like to
All
keep
too
the blood
well.
within.
Go ahead, Carl.
Sorry. They like to keep the blood within themselves, so they're not exactly the strongest of people, and they require some delicate hands to keep mobile, shall we say?
That's true. Jericho, leans back and he gets more comfortable in his chair. And he says, however, one of the things that I find interesting about nobles. By the way, I suppose I should introduce myself. I'm an attaché for the Senatorum, so I deal with the nobility of Aventine quite frequently. But one of the things that I admire about the nobility is their interest in history. In fact, I once met a noble, and unfortunately his name escapes me now, but he had an incredible interest in Terran history and mythology, especially certain creatures, Cerberus being one. Also, he looks for any recognition on the woman's face when he says Cerberus, and perhaps not seeing any continues a little bit. Also, they have an interest in tales of maybe facets of the Emperor. I know it's against the Imperial Creed, but I do find it interesting. One often talked about a facet of the Emperor about healing. Asesco, it was called.
Ah. I am familiar with the tale of Assesso. She was known for her curing of the sick. It was quite well received by warriors who had been wounded on the field of battle. Healing wounds was her thing. I believe it was the Grecian hegemony who came up with tales, was it not?
I'm afraid I have to bow out. I myself am not possessed of such knowledge, being the vagabond that I am, but I'm always impressed by those who do have it. One question that I have, though, for Assesso. I'm sure that the warriors that she cared for on the field of battle would be terribly grateful to her. But I'm sure some would perish, perhaps? Or did she heal everyone?
Try as she might. Not all can be saved. Sometimes she's just the observer. Her aid cannot be reached at all after.
Wow. That's unfortunate. I'm sure that whomever knew those warriors would miss them greatly.
They would have been of great service to any lord who they pledged their banner to.
You look around and... Sorry, I thought you were not. Go on.
They will be missed. But perhaps not all die. Perhaps some just disappear into legend and return later in life.
So, looking around, you see glittering reflections of glasses being carried around. The clientele is starting to build up, and there are just wealthy people everywhere. The only sort of servants they let in here are just extremely well dressed and mannered, walk up and bow and sort of stand behind the chairs as people sit down. The light from the sunrise has now filled the entire... It's almost like sitting on the top of a mountain and looking over this huge nature vista through the windows. And in the distance you can see sort of ships taking off and the clouds forming in the distance. In the crowd, you see several people have taken notice to you as you're sitting there in these giant chairs, and there seems to be some social rules here that you're not that familiar with yet, but you get that you're sitting in a place that is very highly sought after. It has a beautiful view of the ocean and the beach, and both of you can do a deceive test. Minus 0.
Okay.
Yeah, it's enough that one of you is successful. So, Jericho, you pull off a demeanor up there like you own the place, right? It looks completely natural for you to be there. Your body language, your mannerisms when you pick up the class, everything is perfect. Occasionally you see some important people arrive and they sort of stop and point up to where you're sitting, and then they little hesitantly sort of turn their head to the side and then walk off somewhere. You see a woman standing there with curly white hair in a bun. She has strict dark eyes and almost like a permanent frown on her face. She appears very athletic, despite wearing a very stiff black dress and fine jewelry. She's obviously eyeing both of you. All of that just happens in a split second. But go on.
So Jericho would look back at this woman with the white hair and, basically mention some of the looks that they're getting and ask her, or actually I think he'd tell her, he says, I think I have some friends of mine that I'd like to introduce you to. Good people, all of them. Strong in the faith of the God Emperor, and also loyal to Lord Sarlocke. Individuals who have enjoyed the hospitality of Aventine, but are looking to establish some business contacts here. Perhaps, if you are interested, we might retire to our room, and I could at least introduce you to those that are present, and we could give this space back to the nobility.
The woman sort of leans back a little, puts her low back between her lips, and just very gently pans her eyes across the room, and gives Jericho a generous smile. Yes, their eyes are tinged with green, don't you think? And she makes a big show of looking at a chronopiece that's tucked into one of the breast pockets.
You get an inspiration point, even though you can't have one.
And she sort of looks at it and goes, I think I can spare the time. My lord has other physicians to him, although of course please, I would very much be interested in meeting those loyal to them. Aren't, though, to be fair.
Of course. Jericho bows slightly, and he rises fluidly from his seat, and he heads down and gives the woman in the tight black dress with the bun just this winning smile as he passes, just as though to say hello and thank you.
She stares into your eyes, and as you pass her, she pulls her hands straight out, straightening them. The collar of her dress, or the edge of her dress, slips up slightly, and you're close enough to see that she's showing you her bionic arms. And then she opens her eyes, and she has very creepy looking eyes. And you can see that she has a layer of artificial skin, and she breaks out. There is something a bit off about your uniform. And she points at your collar.
Oh, is that so? And Jericho moves to adjust his collar slightly. And what would that be?
She smiles. Ah, details, you know. And she looks off.
Oh, she looked away now.
Yeah.
His collar? Details. That is what she said, right? Details?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So Jericho, raises an eyebrow, and he's like, oh, wow, you must have incredible powers of perception. And
she immediately, without a second's pause, turns back, raises her glass. Yes, I spent many years as an investigator for hire, though these days are behind me. If I were to guess, I would say you were here for something special. And she sort of looks you up and down.
Oh, I would say that I'm here for a good time, but mostly I'm here because I've been released for the moment. I'm no longer required to shepherd some folks around. So I could be interested in something special if you have anything in mind.
She places one of her... she sort of steps a little closer to you, and by this time you can tell that she's like I said, unusually athletic. Her legs, especially, you can see that she's extremely fit and at least partially bionic. Her arms certainly are. She looks deep in your eyes, and you can do a willpower test.
Or be seduced.
Is this any particular thing? Because Jericho does have some willpower affecting talents.
Yes, what?
So if it's anything to do with Xenos, he gets a +10, and he also has Jaded.
No, not relevant in this case. But,
Okay.
Good.
This is seduction.
All right.
It's not feeling in the will strength.
I think I should probably re-roll that just in case.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
better, but no.
She takes a step forward, blinks once, and it's almost like you see this translucent light bluish tint in her eye slowly turn sideways, almost like a clockwork. And then she goes, "Yes, you are looking for something. Perhaps I am the person who can show you how to attain it. If you are interested, you can meet me here." She pulls out a card, hands it to you.
Jericho glances down at the card. What does the card say? Is it a location or does
But
it?
essentially the equivalent of 502, so 5th floor. It's her room.
Jericho gives her that winning smile again, and he said, "I'm sorry, I don't believe I got your name."
She bows very politely, takes out one of her hands, and she has beautiful jewelry running up her arm, entire arm, and she goes, "Jill Vermosta, a diplomat from Juno.
Ah,
Pleased to meet you."
From Juno. I'm Carlos Lagonwe, a member, an attaché to the Senatorum Draconis. I would love to make your acquaintance.
She
I
looks down at
might
you.
also like to discuss diplomatic matters if that's something you'd be interested in.
She looks down at your feet and with a dismissive tone goes, "Yes, I'm sure. The invitation stands." And then she walks off.
Interesting. So Jericho turns back to the white-haired woman with the violet eyes, and he kind of nods his head at the exit and then proceeds. He doesn't really say anything, but the look that he gives her is one that is of... Well, she probably wouldn't know. He just gives her a look, you know?
She responds with a polite nod and begins following a respectful distance behind, hands behind her back, a sort of relaxed, half attention pose as you lead her.
As they walk back to the suite, Jericho turns back to her and he says, "I don't believe I got your name either. My name is Carlos. A pleasure."
Genetia. It is, well, the pleasure is all mine, my dear.
Awesome.
So they head back to the suite.
Yes.
And do you want to flip over to Maria and Kit?
So is this the end of your thing? You're gonna hang out at the suite. What do you do during this time, basically?
So basically, Jericho and... I can never... Genetica. I always want to call her, like, Galactica or Galatia.
Galactica. So it's like an X-Men.
Galactica.
Oh, X-Men hero.
Genetica. Right?
Genetia.
Genetia.
I'm never gonna remember that either, God.
Wow.
You picked an
It's
impossible
There's gonna be
name.
a name change in next session. I call it now.
It's a cool name. She's like a medic, and her name is like genetics, but from women thingy.
I didn't think of that, but yes, fair enough.
So
No, let's not. It's a cool name. It's a cool name. But
No,
where's
no,
the,
it's a
where's
great-
the character though? I can't see.
Sorry,
Is
Morton.
that a flag?
Yeah.
How would you pronounce that word?
Let's guys, let's take a 7-minute break.
Okay.
But 7 minutes is such an oddly specific time.
That's why I love it. You never say 5 minutes. I'll be back in 2 minutes. No, fuck that. 3 minutes. How about that? No one knows how to measure that. Yeah, Carl, where is it?
Yeah. So how would you pronounce that then? Spelt Jenetia. I'll put it in the chat. There you go.
Depends
that
on
was
if you're
pronounced?
Spanish or not.
Well, no,
Very much so. And
I'm asking in his Norwegian. So in his Norwegian language.
in Norwegian, everything sounds like birdie, birdie, birdie. That's basically
No,
it.
it's not Swedish.
It's the same, isn't it?
Oh.
Birdie, birdie, birdie.
You just offended so many of your own people by saying the sentence the same.
If there are any Norwegians watching this, feel offended.
Yeah.
Let me know.
I'm guessing it's like Henetia?
I can't see it yet. Oh, it's in Discord.
It's in the Discord.
In Norwegian, a bit Jenetia.
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 Okay. You have a way of accenting the A that I can't quite achieve.
Jenetia.
Yeah.
Jenetia.
It's actually pretty close to the Spanish pronunciation too.
Oh, I guess Spanish would be in my Spanish. It would be Jenetia.
Yeah, it would be
Venetia.
Venetia.
Yeah, Jenetia.
Kit, do you want to have a go in Polish?
Like naranja.
Get fucked off. You
Yeah,
can write
clearly.
English if you like. Genetia.
Oh, okay. How is it in British? It's Genetia, isn't it?
Genetia.
Okay, right, we're not all fucking Beatles members, okay?
It's Genetia, man. Genetia.
Alright.
Fucking Cockney accents are so bad.
It's perfect, admit it.
Tetricus
We
would
love
love that name. Genetia.
Genetia, yeah.
I think I originally pronounced it as Genetia,
Genetia. Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds very good.
but Maria
I've-
didn't agree with that pronunciation.
Genetia. I have no problem
Say it
pronouncing it
however the
Genetia.
frick you like. To be honest, at this point, it just reminds me of some sort of like tea you would drink.
That's fucking hilarious. Genetia tea from India.
Yeah, but there's one called echinacea tea or something like that, so it's not too
Echinacea.
far off.
It's against
Echinacea.
acne. Oof. Echinacea.
I actually,
Echinacea.
God, I can't remember her bloody name. I had to quickly check what her name was.
Brother.
I think Jericho is gonna call you Gene.
Okay.
You now have a nickname.
She just for help. She'll probably say, it, but she normally goes for Tia as a shortened name.
Oh, that's so much easier.
Tia.
I'm not sure why, but I'm really tired this session. Like, I'm like lying in bed with a blanket, and I'm just like, stay awake.
Well, to be fair,
Focus.
I think it's because unfortunately due to Kit's roles, the initial part took a long time to get going. So you were just kind of been sat here listening for quite some time.
To be honest, it's also just because it's cold. And so, like, I pulled up this blanket, and now I'm just, like, lying on my pillows, like, oh, this is nice. More of
Actually-
this, please.
I actually really enjoyed listening to the whole thing with Kit. I thought that was
Me
pretty
too.
cool.
Wow. Why are you
I
talking about me?
I do think you totally got screwed with the RNG though.
Well,
Real?
yep. I I did, but that's fine because nothing of extreme importance have happened. I hope.
I mean, she didn't die, which
Yeah.
I thought might happen. So
Yeah, that's normally happening when I'm trying to sneak. So now it's from 100% up to 50% my death per sneaking attempt.
There you go. Improving your odds every session. But no, I thought that was very cool, and I was really glad to see Kit like come into her own and like do her thing, right? And that was very cool.
The worst part was I please don't be 96, and it was 96.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Reznar's ill, but he's sat there playing Heroes of the Storm.
Well, I think he's got like a sore throat or something. That's why he didn't want
No,
to be on the session.
I'm only teasing.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
I'm back. Yeah, he said the had such a sore throat he could barely speak. Who knows?
Why he had
happens to
to
me.
drink this much vodka?
Yeah, where is he from?
Vodka
again?
doesn't make me have a sore throat.
No, not
Because
at
you
all.
don't
Makes
drink
my
enough.
kidneys hurt.
Cleans up my throat.
Kid.
It's best ever. Cleans up the whole system.
I will say I
Right.
did have some really good vodka in Kyrgyzstan. Like,
Mm.
really good.
I never understood that. Like, good. Isn't that just not
Yeah, that's-
tasting anything?
I was about to say,
The good,
good
vodka, is
vodka,
the
it
one
tastes
that
like
is-
premium bleach.
Yeah,
Or like nothing.
no, the
It's
good
like,
vodka is the one that you suffer least after next day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. For sure. For sure. You can get the quickest drunk and not suffer.
And actually, there's some vodkas that are more like syrup and not like bleach, so you might prefer those types. You know, like
I don't know.
cough syrup.
I'm not gonna
Like-
lie, in England, like, if you see Russian text on the vodka bottle, don't drink it.
Why?
It's probably like 5% vodka and like 95%
To be honest, there is one. Gosh, there isn't. Russian standard.
yeah, Russian standard, but
That's
I'm
what
talking
Russian-
about the ones where it's just got Russian all over
Absolute?
it. Like we used to serve.
Oh yeah, no, ours. Ours was just like. I
Probably
can't remember.
freaking mix of antifreeze or some shit.
Well, it was like some.
Vodka is an
stupid-
antifreeze.
It was like.
Confirmed.
It was like Antov's vodka. It was literally called like someone's vodka. It was literally that. That's how bad and cheap it was. It was someone's vodka. And-
Smirnoff is normally what I go for if I don't want to die.
Yeah, well, we used to serve Smirnoff, but because it was like everyone drank Smirnoff, it ran out almost every night, and so we ended up with this.
Yeah.
Cheap.
Cheapo vodka.
I've started to like whiskey lately. Jason.
I need
that's-
a good glass of whiskey. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
That's my drink of choice as well.
Yeah, man.
I'm not a real person, so I don't drink whiskey, only Jack Daniels, like some pussy.
To be honest, my spirit of choice is so weird. It's schnapps, which I feel like is such a
Schnapps.
woman's choice.
Ugh, can't do
Yeah.
Schnapps and lemonade.
it. I struggle with that.
The last time I actually threw up from drinking too much, it was because I had schnapps. And it's because it doesn't taste at all like alcohol.
You
And
can
so-
overdo on it so bad.
Yeah, and so I got done and I was just like, wow, that stuff will really fuck you up. And then, the next day I was just like, why would I do that? Like,
And schnapps gives you the worst headache. It's
yeah, it does.
awful.
It really does.
Oh wait,
I was also doing it. I was cutting it with Jaeger, so it was.
Oh Jesus!
gave me the schnapps,
Cutting
and
it with
it was
Jaeger?
actually like the antifreeze bullshit.
The hell
It's
was
tight
that?
bones.
We're trying to stay warm
Uh,
at like a weather station or something? That sounds awful.
Never had
Pretend
problems
you've
with
never done that. Morgan.
Mix Jaeger with everything else? Yeah, I've done that.
Yeah,
I've done that.
exactly.
In times of need, my friend.
Last time
will
that
have
I
to do.
threw up after drinking alcohol, I think it's because I drank like 20 bottles of my favourite cider, Copperberg.
What the
Pen.
fuck? You can drink so much cider you can actually throw up. Won't you
Yeah.
just piss it out too fast?
I mean,
Oh, no.
Sorry. The only time I've only ever thrown up once, and it was like immediately, so I think it was just a bad mix. But I'd been drinking cider all night, and because it's obviously quite bubbly, I had a shot of tequila right after. And like,
The streets of Oslo are laced with my vomit, let me just say. You've thrown up once. I have literally projectile vomited on every, like, yeah, I don't know.
It's San Diego for me, but I totally understand that story.
Yeah.
I rarely throw up from drinking. I have a very high tolerance, so don't I?
I normally do it on purpose when I feel like, shit, I'm gonna be on an airplane for 2 hours. Better not to throw up there.
Well, the thing is that both Maria and I, like, we sober up really quickly from alcohol. So unless we keep drinking, it really does. After like a few
It's
hours,
so
it stops.
fucking expensive.
Yeah, it stops having an effect on us.
Oh.
I once spent like, it was going on like 70 or 80 quid on just
Yeah.
drinks. And like at the end of the night, I was sober. I was like, "What is this?
Vodka.
What is the point?"
The business is to get bottle of vodka and not like some long
I
drinks.
have actually sat after a party and just drank shots of vodka to myself, and I woke up the next night and I was fine. Next morning, I was fine. I wasn't drunk or anything. So,
For the Americans, I have no idea what a fucking quid is.
A
£1
quid. Isn't that a pound? Yeah.
Oh, it's a pound.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
£1.
like the equivalent of your buck.
Yeah. Okay, I gotcha.
Ha,
One
wait,
buckaroo.
I thought this was like this weird British currency that I had no idea what it was.
No, it's literally a quid is a pound, just like a dollar is a buck.
Gotcha.
Yeah, guys. What are we doing?
wait and
All
see.
right, now I think
Yeah.
we're talking about drinking.
In the game. What are we doing in the game?
So Jericho takes Genetia back to the suite, and obviously there's nobody there. And so, he sits her down, unties his scarf a little bit, shows his inquisitorial rosette, which obviously comes from the Ordo Xenos. And I imagine they probably hash out, like, what happened to the team, and that they're both part of the same cell, and Mordecai and all that kind
Yeah.
of stuff.
Could you spell it out for everyone so everyone understands? So you worked with this woman before.
Do you not just want to act out the discussion, or do you want to just summarize it?
I was going to summarize it so that you guys can do your thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Carl, do you want me to summarize it, or do you want to?
We can sort of both do it. So
Okay.
Genetia was part of an active part of Jericho's cell. She was part of the what did you refer to it as, the action team? What it was?
Direct action team, yeah.
Direct action team. So where Jericho was the where Jericho and Mordecai were sort of the information, intelligence gathering and interpretation parts. The direct action team would be the group of 3 individuals who would go out and actually do the mission. So eliminating targets, securing objects and things like that. That would be their role. And a few months prior, going off of after being tasked by Jericho, the team were in the middle of rendezvousing when an ambush was sprung, which Genetia was unfortunately delayed getting to the rendezvous. And so she witnessed the ambush, and thinking that perhaps there's a sign of things happen, bigger things happen, she withdrew and went dark for a few months until she was certain it was safe. At which point she resurfaced and informed Mordecai of her return, and that she requested that information be granted to her so she could actively seek out Jericho.
Mordecai, in case someone has forgotten, is the guy in the basement with all the weird, the tech priest, who you were.
Yes.
He's your contact in the Battle City. Who recently Jericho got a message from him and so on. Awesome.
He's the guy that Jericho continues to communicate with on the Ordo Xenos reports and stuff.
Yeah.
As well. So the way that cell worked was Mordecai is kind of this center that talks to everyone. Jericho provides like cover and support, stuff like that. And then there were these 3 team members that would actually go out and kick down doors and shoot people, basically.
Cool.
And so that's how we roll it.
Awesome. Let's go over to Ross and the rest of the team. What are you doing?
Do we have Quentin on board? Okay.
Yes. So as soon as they kind of swagger out of the door, Quentin kind of just silently guides Ross into the nearest elevator, and he kind of looks over at the buttons, and there's a kind of dangerous glint in his eyes. He's a man that's ready to learn some secrets, and he's
Come on,
ready
Captain,
to
just press it.
and he's ready to divulge into the darkest things that we can find here. And he looks over at the buttons and he kind of traces his fingers up and down as Ross kind of just tells him to press it, and decides to just press the lowest button.
That's the reception button.
So you walk through these beautiful large hallways embroidered in gold with beautiful paintings, huge windows at the end of the hallway, letting in light, large wooden doors sliding to the side. At least the surface is wooden, and again everything is carved and very ornate and beautiful. The doors open and you step into the lobby area, which I've described before.
We're in the lobby. Is there any guides or a servitor or something that we can grab?
Oh yes, there's a
I don't
servitor
believe
standing
you were
the
in a
middle of the room.
bar once before, Captain.
There's also a bar.
Quentin kind of just looks over at Ross and he goes, "Well, if you want to grab us a drink, I ain't gonna complain. I'm gonna go get us some directions." And he kind of salters over to the servitor, puts his hands on his hips and goes, "Right, I need to be led towards the common areas."
The servitor stands there and slowly turns to you, and then there's this empty stare just looking straight through you. As soon as you stand there with them, you look to the reception area, and you see this tall man standing there, sort of run around the corner, and he runs towards you.
He runs towards me.
Yeah.
Ross splits up to the nearest vending machine to pick up a recap in a box. Something.
What? How is he running towards me?
Just like he's in a hurry to make some kind of service. You know how service staff they sort of run and walk at the same time, sort of straight back, holding his hand slightly to his chest, like he's about to speak, and he's like running towards you.
Quentin kind of just rolls back his shoulders and crosses his arms as he waits, like a noble waiting on a member of staff to just hurry their way over. And then once the man's in front of him, he just raises an eyebrow. Will?
He looks around. I hope you've enjoyed your stay. Is there anything wrong? Is there something I can do for you?
My stay isn't quite over, but if I had complaints, you'd have heard them. No, I'm just, I'm finding the air too clear up there. And, you see, I'm a man that's sort of simple things, and I was hoping to find more of my own people, if you get my drift.
He gives a slight smile, sort of leans his head to the side. Of course I understand. Yes, you can find them on the second floor.
And where exactly is the second floor leading to?
That is the common habitation.
Ah, I see. Well then, that's where I'll go. And he reaches over and he pops the guy a few credits.
He bows politely and sort of backs off. He also informs you that your payment has come through.
Payment for what?
For the stay.
Ah, yes, of course, yes. Oh, he's surprised. Quentin kind of just winks. And then Wolf whistles towards Kit. Come on, Kit! Well, Ross, rather. And then he's gonna go, come on, Kit Kat, let's get going. We got our directions. And he just, he just looks like, almost like a jolly captain with his large strides as he heads over to the second floor.
Yeah. So, stepping into the second floor, guys, you again. This is where you were earlier. Endless halls leading to smaller rooms, grey carpets and stained white walls. The walls are quite narrow, and there's actually candles lit here in these very, very narrow hallways. There's this dim light down the corridors, revealing, as you look down, as the investigator that you are, Quentin, you notice blood stains and filth along the walls.
Are the blood stains leading anywhere?
It's just
they're
old
smears.
stains that haven't been washed away. You also notice at the edge of the hallway, your keen eyes, as you're used to looking over a crime scene, you sort of get this flashback to seeing some kind of horrible crime scene where someone has died. You see this looming shadow in the distance, and just a shadow being cast towards you. It is a servitor who slowly turns around and, leaning up against the wall, sort of walks very slowly down the corridor. Occasionally leans down and picks up some kind of trash.
Quentin kind of just lets out a breath, and he's kind of smirking to himself as he pops a glow stick between his lips. He looks over at Ross and he raises an eyebrow. You know, Kit Kat, I never asked. Where you from, hmm? And at this point, he kind of starts walking down the hall, ignoring the servitor. And he's gonna try. Does he hear any sort of music or sound or anything that sounds like there might be a larger gathering of people?
Laughter coming from several rooms that you pass by. Yelling.
Ross sips the recap from the vending machine, and she's like, looks at Quentin. Whoa, what the hell? Captain, do you care? I am from the Hive of Askellon, and you?
Well, of course I don't know if the word care is the word, but, you know, I'm always curious about people, where they're from, what they think. Her question, he kind of just raises an eyebrow and he kind of cocks his head to the side. Let me return your question with a question. If you had to guess, where do you think I'd be from?
Ross just looks at the floor, kind of like puzzled. It's like, I haven't been in a lot of places, and I'm pretty sure you're not from any of those I visited.
Alright, well, give a general idea. Do you think I'm from the glorious peaks of a garden world? Or do you think I'm from the snobby high towers of a highborn?
I would think about the glorious peaks.
Quentin kind of gives such a deep laugh that you actually see genuine crinkle lines of humor in the corner of his eyes.
Hey,
For the first time in a long time, he actually seems genuinely surprised and finds what you said funny.
Awesome. You both get an inspiration point, Bill.
And he just kind of ruffles your hair slightly as he walks down the corridors and goes, "Never quite changed, Kit Kat. Never changed."
Her back.
And then Quentin kind of just keeps following the noise and the dirt and just kind of keeps heading towards where it's growing and where he hears more sounds.
Yeah.
He sees more people, drunkards and thieves, and I'm assuming as the further he goes in, the more dastardly the clientele gets.
It's like a drug nest. It's just like emaciated workers and basically the lowest ranking members of parties that you've seen enter this place. Just assistants and people who aren't really needed anywhere right now. And also some other people you haven't seen anywhere else. Outside of the door with the most noise, you see a woman standing. She looks pale, almost bluish. She's got a bluish tint to her face. She has deep wrinkles, and she looks a little crouched down, like she's got a hunchback, and she's leaning forward slightly. She has frizzled white hair, and she looks like a creepy witch. She's standing there with a dress that looks like she's been sleeping in a dumpster for several years. It's just like nasty and torn up.
Can I roll?
You get the impression that it's on purpose, though. It's some kind of culture down here. They really exaggerate this.
Can I roll scrutiny to see if I can notice anything in particular about her guise?
So you're trying to look.
He's trying to kind of pick out if it's genuine, the outfit, or if there is something that's giving away more about her than just her, the outward appearance she's showing off.
If you can read anything else about her, anything more about her, go ahead and do a test for +10.
Well, nope. Oh, +10, still no.
Alright.
Sure. Well, no, I won't use an inspiration point. Yeah, Quentin kind of just leans up towards her, and he's kind of trying to pick out some details. But in the end, something about her is just so bizarre and off-putting that he can't wrap his head around why someone would look like this.
As you come to the door, she quickly turns around, and you can see one of her eyes is halfway shut. The other is just flares open, and she sort of comes towards you, the light from the candles in the hallway dancing on her face, and it's like out of this nightmare. And she steps right up to you, and you can hear this squeaking voice coming out. I can see you're not the clientele to be staying at this floor, so I assume you are looking for something. And then she comes even closer to the light, and you can see her face light up.
Quentin kind of just runs his fingers through his stubble.
He goes,
and
she goes, "Tell Mira what you need." And then she looks behind her over her shoulder, like she's expecting someone to come. What do you do?
Quentin suddenly kind of transforms in front of Kit a bit, and suddenly he pushes up the kind of sleeves of his captain's coat, and he starts scratching at his arms, and suddenly his eyes are a bit wider, and in that moment you kind of just see him flick into place, and he kind of leans towards the woman. He goes, you see, where I'm from, we have certain things, you know, keep your mind right, keep it focused, and I just gotta feed that, you see. And they don't understand that upstairs, but down here, you understand it, right?
She interrupts you halfway, goes, Mira understands. Wait, here. I will relieve you of your suffering. And she turns around, and she picks up a huge keychain, starts fiddling with the lock on the door to the room where you hear the most noise, and she walks inside. Do you want to do
Quentin
anything?
follows behind.
Okay. As soon as you turn the corner, the door closes. Someone is holding the door shut.
On the other side?
Yeah.
I probably stayed outside because this is weird and Ross is not going to follow weird junkie woman. Ross all the time thought that we are going to get some crew members, and that's not like that.
Quentin just kind of turns around to the door immediately, and tries to push back.
There's someone standing there who have rammed their boot to make sure you can't enter.
Sorry.
Does Ross see anything?
No, none of you see anything. The door opens, and you get sort of a split second to look inside. You see several men sitting there. There's a thick smoke hanging in the air, and she's coming out with several bags.
Quentin kind of leans against the doorframe a little bit as she kind of approaches with the bags. and he's pushed the glow stick between his lips again. And he's not even sure how many he's got left at this point, and he kind of just sets it alight as he waits for it to get closer.
Awesome. She comes up to you, and you can basically buy drugs.
Quentin kind of looks at the drugs and he's kind of almost perusing them. But he's not really paying attention, he's more focusing on the people behind her. Does he notice anything about them?
So there are several men sitting there. One of them you recognize from what Jericho has told you about. Jericho's told you about the sort of kingpin down there, the drug dealer. He's sitting inside. There are also some other people that you've seen in the lobby.
Okay. Quentin... He picks one of the more common easy drugs to use.
Okay.
Not wanting to have to fight the woman on this. I'll fork out too much. But before he hands over the credits, he kind of just... kind of almost seizes the woman's wrist a little bit. He leans forward and he goes, "You know, I'm a man of many means, you see. And I didn't just come down here to settle my nerves. Perhaps your fellows back there wouldn't mind talking a little business?"
Do a fellowship roll.
Let's do charm.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Challenging.
Is that plus minus 10?
Mm-hmm.
That's just normal, isn't it?
Challenge is +0.
Yeah, that's good. Bam!
Alright. She opens the door and goes, "There are customers!" And then you enter this smoke-filled room. How do you want to make an entrance?
Quentin kind of just steps forward, and at this point he's got Tempest's armor underneath his regular clothes, and there's just kind of like the heavy thud of his boot against the metal as he steps in, and his cloak just kind of flicks behind him, and he spreads his hands out to them all. He's standing tall, shoulders back, and he kind of is just grinning, and he goes, "Gentlemen, you're about to do the best business of your lives."
You hear one of them cough. "Who is this fool? Mira, why did you let him in?"
You might think I'm a fool, but I'm one of the biggest, most wealthy men in this side of the galaxy. So I would recount that.
One of them leans back, the other one across from the table. He goes, "Then why I've never heard of you? I've never
Well,
seen
I
you
haven't
before."
told you. I've never told you my name, and I've never seen fit to come here myself, but I've had a change of mind recently.
He's holding a pretty big gun. It looks modified, resting it on his lap, aimed at you.
Quentin just kind of smiles, and he doesn't even hesitate for a moment at the gun. He goes, "My name is Captain Hugh Jackman, captain of the Lone Star, one of the biggest fleets you'll find. And I so happen to be here to, well, expand my inventory."
Do a deceive test, and you get whatever bonuses you have from being a high roller.
Okay.
If you don't have anything built in, you get a +10. You're dealing with a criminal underworld.
What? Well, I'll use my inspiration.
Wait, you get a
Wait,
+10? Did you account for that?
I did put the plus on, yeah.
Alright. Gotcha.
There we go, that's better.
Alright. So as soon as you say that and sit down, he sort of just rests his gun on one of his legs, and with a small gesture leans over. "So I hope you brought something very big, because I have not a lot of patience for you, to be honest. I have to be honest with you."
Nah, you're approaching this wrong, my friend. It's not what I can give you, it's what you can give me. I give you money. Ain't that always the case?
I have as much money as I need. Smiles at the other guy. He gives a little smile back, and they look totally drugged out.
Quentin kind of just leans forward. Alright, let's forget about money for a second. Let's talk artifacts. And as Quentin kind of leans forward, his gaze is deadly serious.
Artifacts? Who do you think you are? You're
think I'm
nobody
a
important.
man.
I can see from your clothing.
Wait, what?
You're a common trader.
Quentin's wearing expensive clothes.
He's
Drugged
playing
out.
with you. He's playing with you.
Yep.
Saying
Quentin
whatever
kinda
to try
just-
to tilt you.
Just kind of smirks and he just kind of looks at his clothes and he goes, well, if this is what a common trader wears, then you ain't been dealing with common traders, my friend. This is some of the finest fabric you'll find in the galaxy. And that's not the point. The point is let's just say I have seen beings that ain't quite like you and me. And they have imparted on me knowledge and items that would make nobody laugh. And at that point his face kind of goes serious.
What do you mean the wilderness? You can go out the window. You can see it from here.
No. I'm talking about, and he kind of lowers his voice, Xenos.
Yes. Yes, you can see Xenos. Here, look. He points to the window. It's a small, tiny little window covered in dirt.
Quentin kind of, his brows kind of come together. Is Kit in the room?
Yes,
Ross
Kid
in
is
the room.
like Kid. Ross is like just leaning somewhere in the background. It's like, come on, Captain, let's be bored somewhere else. Those guys don't want transport or dwellers.
Quentin's kind of just waving her off. And he walks towards this window and he kind of just wipes it down with his sleeve and peers through.
What does
What does he see?
You looking through the window?
Yep.
The landscape of Aventine. Just green fields, the ocean. It's like, yeah. That looks
Quentin
nice.
looks back and he goes, I don't think you understand what Xenos is, because that's just...
He very quickly slams the table. Ha! That is because you don't use this. And then he puts a syringe on the table. That is a problem with you.
Quentin just kind of lets out a deep breath. Can you notice anything else useful in the room?
By useful, you mean?
If you can see any sense of what group this men belong to, because he clearly feels like they're just underlings to a bigger scheme.
No, but I assume that Jericho has told you that they're basically sanctioned by the guards here. They're allowed to work here. No one really strikes down on any of this. They basically provide a service for the guests here.
Okay.
Local fixers.
Through middlemen, of course.
Yeah. Quentin lets out a breath, and he just kind of shakes his head sadly. He's like, you see, I thought you men were ready to enter the big leagues, but it seems like you're happy being small time nothing.
He gets up. No, you don't leave yet. You haven't tried it. How can you deny our service if you haven't tried it?
And what exactly is it I'm trying?
You will see the aliens. That is what you said, right?
Quentin kind of looks over at Ross, and he kind of gives her a look of like, kill him.
That's
This
free
fucks me
samples,
up.
Captain.
And then Quentin kind of
Don't
just
use them now, we have some deals to do.
he clears his throat, and he takes the... Is it a needle?
It's some
syringe.
kind of injection device.
He takes it and looks at the liquid within. Does he notice anything about it?
It is something you're pretty sure that will shoot you into a huge hallucination trip.
Free drugs. We always say yes to free drugs.
That's right, Ross. So it's basically Obscura.
It's Obscura. Okay.
Liquid Obscura.
Quentin just kind of looks at it and then looks back at the guy. And why exactly would I want to take this?
You want the alien? Come
I
on.
have the Xenos technology. It's you that needs it.
Jeez, Captain, that's not dig waving competition. Let's go.
He's all like, oh, you have technology. Come, show me. I want to see.
Cross
He-
with the space ball.
He's like pounds on the table. Come on, let me see.
Quentin just kind of brings his arms together and he just looks at the back. Now, I offered you something, you turned it away, and now you want to see? How come you don't prove to me why the hell I should listen to you anymore?
Because I have this. And he points the gun at you.
Quentin just kind of smiles. Men bigger and more talented than you have held bigger guns at me. That ain't enough of a reason. You dopeheads ain't gonna become anything. And he just kind of shakes his head, turns around. He's basically kind of trying to incite them into giving in by
Right,
tempting them with his offers.
right.
Bluffing.
Do a... This is sort of a contest of intimidation, the way I perceive it. So do a intimidation check.
You.
Yes. Eventually he turns a little bit pale, and then he gets tired of the little thing he's doing, and he like takes a half circle and stumbles into the table, and then halfway falls down on one of the chairs. He goes, "Let's see, bro. Let's see the thing. What you want?"
I ain't brought any of the artifacts here. You gotta find me a buyer first. You think I just wave Xenos technology around like it's a frickin' game? Tell me who would be willing to buy it. And I'll give you a cut.
What is it? Where is it from? You don't tell me anything.
Where is it from? Quentin laughs. It's Eldar, of course.
Eldar. He looks up and seems to be sobering very quickly. He sort of mumbles, leans over the table, pulls up a data lid. Eldar. Why you want to talk to me about this? He seems very upset.
I wanted you to help me find someone that could acquire this. I thought you were a man in need of means, but apparently you don't know anything, do you?
He coughs. Colinus Telliorius is a trader from House Bex Davora. Big, fat, ugly man. Talk
And
to
why
him.
exactly?
Ross Jack remembers that she saw one big ugly man. It's like, is he being transported in a soup container?
Yes, he's the soup ingredient.
Okay.
Quentin kind of just clasps his hands together and he goes, and this man, he has the means and a will to buy this sort of thing.
You want to talk to him? It's on your risk.
Quentin kind of just takes a breath and throws the drugs that the old lady had given to him on the table. And a fake... He jottles down fake details of a fake room on his data slate.
Yeah.
And tosses that down as well. It's some poor guy's room, probably their next door neighbors or something. And he tosses it down and he goes, well, how about you come to my room in 2 days' time and I'll have payment for you, huh? For your services.
What will I have interest of this? What will you give me?
I'll give you a cut of the profits, of course,
For what?
for giving me that name. If you don't want it, don't come.
He raises his eyebrows and lets out a deep sigh. Okay, I will talk to you.
at that point, Quentin just kind of gives a small salute, turns back around, slings his arm around Ross's shoulders again and leaves.
He seems to immediately go into a huge trip and lean back in the chair, and his eyes just start flickering quickly. And you leave this horrible room. The stench of the smoke still sits in your clothing as you leave. And you have this nasty feeling in your gut. There's like a knot in your gut. Like those guys were completely lost. Do you want to leave the whole place?
Yeah, we got a name.
Cool.
We got everything that we're gonna get down here.
So you
What
enter
was
the
name
hallway.
of a soup?
Colinus Tellurius. I can write it down.
Yeah,
please do.
Yes. You also got where he's staying at the moment. And that he is interested in seeing artifacts.
When he have like entourage of bajillion people, probably have the whole floor for him.
Yep, that's exactly right. So you have that information, you walk into the elevator, eventually come back into the suite, where suddenly you see someone new. What do you do?
Someone new? What?
Yeah,
Mhm.
Jericho with a lady.
Yeah,
Oh!
Jericho
New
with
lady
lady.
friend.
There's no
in our
sock on
suite.
the door, I just want to say.
So Quentin kind of just, does his usually strides into the room, and he sees Jericho first, and he kind of goes, Jericho, well, I hope your adventure was more fruitful than. And immediately his voice kind of drops as he sees the woman next to him. And at first he kind of just zips up, but for a moment, if anyone looks close enough, his eyes kind of go wide as he looks at the stark white hair and purple eyes. And he actually completely turns away towards the window. And he just... I didn't know we had guests. And he kind of speaks in such a quiet, almost timid tone that you've never really heard from him. He runs his fingers through his hair.
Is he like smoothing his hair out? Like, oh, there's a hot chick in the room. Like, let me adjust myself.
No, he's kind of running his fingers through his hair, almost like someone
had
was
the
losing a
impression-
poker game.
Like he found his mom in this room.
Genetia sort of stands up and smooths out her uniform a little, sort of gives a slight bow, and are these the esteemed colleagues you were talking about, Jericho?
They are
Sorry,
indeed.
give me the name Jericho. What name did you give me? My apology.
He would have told her Jericho is his real name, Carlos is his cover. So, he, as soon as Quentin comes in and starts talking, and if she called him Jericho, it would be fine. It
Okay.
wouldn't be a big deal.
Yes, so she says so. Are these the esteemed colleagues you were talking about, Jericho?
At this point, Quentin kind of spins on his heel and looks at Jericho with his brows are kind of brought so close together that it almost looks like it's going to form a permanent brow. His arms kind of cross over. You better explain this quick, Jericho.
So Jericho nods over at Genetia, and he says, "Allow me to introduce one of the others of my cell, and a fellow member of the Ordo Xenos. This is Acesso. She was the team's medic, and we recently fortunately encountered each other down in the bar. We've been catching up, perhaps, and I delivered my Inquisitor's current mission to her."
Indeed, it would appear that our Lord has tasked us with aiding you for a time. I hope I can be of service to you.
Ross just gives a little bow, saying, "Nice to meet you."
Quentin kind of just like licks his lips for a moment, and he still won't look at Genetia in the eye, and he's looking at Jericho. And he's just like, so you're telling me this is one of your members that went dark?
Indeed. She is one of the direct action team. So we lost contact with the three of them, and apparently the others were involved in an ambush, so she might be the only survivor of the team. I'm not sure.
At this point, Quentin just crosses his arms and he's still like not looking at her and just focusing on a bottle of Amasec on the table. And why exactly should we believe her story? How do we know that you haven't compromised the rest of the team?
Well, the fact that you're standing here free and not in chains would probably be a good indication of where my loyalty lie. She speaks with a relatively accented voice, leaning quite into the sort of arch tones of the higher Gothic, even when she's speaking sort of common or low. She has the tone of someone who's either been brought up with high standards or has been around high standards for long enough to have picked up on their intonage. That's the word.
I would be careful before you throw threats around, real or perceived. That's when Quentin just kind of stomps over to Jericho and leans close and goes, I need to talk to you.
Sure. We're talking
Quentin.
now, right?
Quentin leans back and then points to the bedroom.
You mean privately? Sure.
And he kind of
Jericho,
just...
heads into the bedroom.
As you enter the bedroom, you see these beautifully ornate carved wooden surfaces. It's a little bit darker. The light is still coming in here, but you have basically a little switch that you can turn that immediately covers the windows with these long metal tiles.
Yeah, Quentin flips the switch as he kind of stomps in behind Jericho, and he slams the door shut, and he just looks at him, and he's kind of leaning in close. You better explain to me how, A, that happened, and B, you let it happen without even conferring with the rest of them.
Well, you were away on your mission, and I didn't expect you to walk back in at that particular moment. But Mordecai's been in contact with her since she resurfaced. That's the short answer. The longer answer is that she was sent here by Mordecai as the last surviving member of the team. So he kind of gives a little shrug, and he's like, if she wanted to reveal our identities, then she would have at least had them already. The fact that she's here and we are still safe is a pretty good indication, I think, that she's still on our side.
Did she tell you her real name? And as Quentin kind of says it, you kind of hear his voice almost break a little bit, and he just kind of clears his throat a second, straightening his coat as he kind of stares at his boots.
Jericho looks at Quentin and he's like, Genetia? Why?
The minute you say it, his back like stiffens visibly, and he doesn't even look up for a second. He doesn't answer immediately. There's just kind of this weird air for a second, and he just looks up at Jericho, and you kind of see his eyes are just a little focused, and he just goes, no reason. I just figured since we're all married, sharing all the information, names. And he just kind of brushes past Jericho, just swings the door back open, and immediately goes to the bar and gets a bottle of Amasec.
Janettia's head pops up from the videos that Ross is sharing on her camcorder to look over at Quentin's bedroom. She sort of leans into Ross and says, is he always that foul-tempered, or have I just witnessed a lover's
So you're cutting up?
Sorry. I said, she leans into Ross as Quentin exits the bedroom and sort of with a low voice just asks, is he always that foul-tempered? Or have I just witnessed a lover's tiff? He isn't jealous, is he?
Oh no, those guys are always just having a bit of a rough time with each other. You know, trying to one up one another. Everyone wants to be the leader, want to decide the stuff.
I see. Well, I like following orders, so I'm not adverse to whoever calls the shots, as long as they're good shots.
Oh,
I call the shots is the kind of thing that you hear just suddenly booming back as Quentin slams some strong Amasek and just slams his glass on the bar top, and he looks for the first time in Janettia's eyes, and it's almost kind of like a man trying to look strong, but you can see a vulnerability there. And he's just kind of his voice kind of goes gruff, and you better remember it.
Gentia gives a slight bow, but her eyes never leaving Quentin's. Very well. As I said, I enjoy taking orders rather than giving them. Have we met somewhere?
I don't know you. Quentin just cut immediately. If that was what you were trying to ask. And at this point he kind of waits for Jericho to float out of the room.
No, I wasn't insinuating that we knew each other, rather more that we had just met.
Jericho, what else did you learn on your expedition?
So Jericho comes out and he leans up against the door and he's like, well, I didn't meet your Navy captain, but I did meet a diplomat from Juno. She's a little strange, but she invited me back to her room to discuss business. So he gives a shrug. He's like, we'll see.
Jericho is so popular with girls.
Everyone but you, Ross.
Were you going to say something, Carl?
Yeah, it was just sort of out of character. Juno is in the moons of Jupiter, Juno.
Juno is the primary planet in Askellon, the house for the lords of Askellon.
It's the capital of the sector, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, because there is a dockyard. Juno dockyards are, I believe, around Jupiter in 40k.
I'm sure there are tons of places named Juno. Yeah.
No, it's okay. I wanted to make sure that I wasn't thinking of the wrong Juno. I was thinking, that's quite far away. How the hell did you manage to get here?
Absolutely.
Quentin just kind of listens to Jericho and he runs his hand over his face. Just kind of lets out a sigh. What exactly is talking business gonna do for our mission?
I don't know yet. We haven't talked business, but I do know that Lord Sarawak has withdrawn somewhat from the control of Juno. So my meeting with her was very unusual. She actually stopped me in the bar and she mentioned that she thought that I was looking for something. I didn't really have time to talk to her very much, but I thought it was something worth going to talk about anyway. How did your expedition down into the depths with the common man go?
Seems like the depths of the common man are just drugs in this particular place, but I got a name. Ross, what was it again?
Colinus? It was like a soup man. I saw him once in a lobby area. He came
Apparently
with
he's the type of
people. Alright, continue.
Apparently he's the type of man to buy Xenos technology. And that to me is the type of man we need to be.
That's the type of man you lock up in chains and sentence to death.
Why?
We locked up. Oh, go on.
Jericho's like, why go for the chains? Just shoot him.
Oh, it's always better to make sure they understand the depths of their heresy. Chains help.
Are you two done flirting? Well, we can prophesize and pontificate on death. We need leads and we need information. And he is one of those things.
It sounds like we have three. This colonist, a traitor, we have the Navy officer. I think he said his name was Skalgar. And Jill, who is the diplomat from Juneau. So 3 places to check, 3 things to figure out.
You say
Well, which
a Navy officer here on Ava Albersh.
Former.
Does that not strike you as odd?
Oh, it strikes me as very odd. That's one of the reasons why we should go look after him. Actually, when I bumped into you, I was actually looking for him. So I still think that's probably the thing we should do, or at least I should do first.
Quentin cuts through. We'll do that. After all, I was the one he gave the name to, and I'm the one that he knows. And then he looks over at Genetia. And you will come with me.
I see that being to our advantage. In a former life, I was part of the Navy. Perhaps I can gain a rapport with him.
Quentin kind of just blinks and just kind of shrugs and is like, well, just like I knew you were. And then he says it as if I knew you were. He just kind of talks about slang. And then he looks over at Jericho. You better take Kit Kat with you. We don't want her to go missing.
I can stay in a room, Quentin.
Well, in fact,
Or I can go and mind my own business.
seems like a waste to just leave you in a room. Don't you think, Jericho? How do you think we
do.
should use our little security rat, huh?
Well, if you're going to go talk to Skalgar and I go talk to the diplomat, I would be interested to know who Colonus is meeting with. If he's here to actually buy some kind of Xenos artifact, and there is a seller here, I'd like to know who that seller is.
Agreed.
Oh,
It looks like you're on reconnaissance, Kit Kat.
Jericho winks at Ross.
Rolf just shrugs.
Don't forget your camera.
I have a second one just in case of that.
Right then.
Excellent.
You're off. So you're splitting into 2 parties again.
3 parts.
3 parties. So
Yeah,
remember,
technically.
And I'll be right back, so
Remember-
start with someone else.
we're not. Well, we are kind of on time schedule, but it's a very big one. It's a very large one. You have relatively much time on your hands, and traveling is what takes most time. You have a lot of time to do stuff in one day here. But you're of course free to do it however you want. So who is going to see who first?
Let's have Ross do her bit first. Because
Alright.
we've kind of gone full circle, so
Nice. Ross, what do you want to do? You step
I think
into
she
the
just
corridor.
be right back.
Alright, let's take someone else first then.
Go on then, Mogadishu.
Okay. And Morton, if it's easier, like, if we have time to tail Colonus, like, while all this is going on, if it's easier for you, I don't mind taking Ross. It's just, if it's like a diplomatic type negotiation type scene, I wanted her to have, like, her own thing
Absolutely.
too.
No, it's completely fine. It's completely up to you guys what you choose to do.
God damn it, I forgot that you need to recharge stamina. Did I had a chance where I need to wait?
Ah. Alright, so you're going to see Colonus. Is that right?
Jericho is going to meet Jill. Kit
Uh-huh.
was going to tail Colonus.
Just who wants to do something first?
Yeah, I think we just said Mogadishu will go first.
Alright, Mogadishu,
Yeah, that's
you walk out the door. Where do you want to go?
So I think it was room 502.
Alright. So you go 1 floor up. So you walk over to the elevator, and as you start to go up, you step out. You get a basic safety message as you step into a beautiful large hallway. with large paintings. And again, this floor is a little darker. You're not sure if it's just a stylistic thing or if there's a difference in class or anything like that. But as you walk over to the door, how do you want to approach it? Do you want to knock?
So first, I think I would just check the hallway and look and see if there's like any cameras, anything like that.
Very nice.
Kind of the same setup that we have downstairs, right?
Nice.
No, that's
Very
from
good.
the floor plan.
Looking around you can do a security plus 10. You get a plus 10 bonus. What happens?
I don't see anything.
Well, you do notice the cameras that are part of the building itself. So you see that very easily.
Okay.
That's it.
Oh, that's right. Actually, Ross does have the floor plan, and she did show that.
Yes,
So
yes. So everything is correct according to the floor plan. There are 2 cameras in this hallway.
and the inside the 502, are there any listening devices?
So there is a listening device there. However, it is sort of close to the ceiling in the middle of the hallway.
Oh, I meant in 502. Like if Jericho was going to go to 502, I'm sure he would review that if he
The
had that
same as-
information available.
The same as everyone.
Ah, okay, interesting.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, as soon as he is outside, he just I don't know if they knock or they have like a little door chime button, whichever is more polite.
Right. So you knock very lightly on the door. After a little while, you hear someone moving behind the door, and you hear a lock, and the door opens, and she sort of looks around the corner. Again, this she's not ugly in any kind of way. She just looks a little weathered. She looks like she's been through some tough times. She has curly white hair in a bun, very dark eyes, and this permanent, slightly tilted frown on her face. And she, as soon as you step around, she goes, "Ah, you came! Come in, please. Sit down." She immediately forms a smile on her face.
Oh, of course, Miss Vermosta. I'm very glad to receive your invitation. Thank you. And Jericho takes a seat.
She nods very politely and goes, "You even remember my name. That is a good start."
Is that unusual? We are
I'm very
diplomats, both of us.
She nods and turns over, walks over to another room, opens the door, and from inside you can hear, "Do you want something?"
Amasek would be fantastic. Thank you.
So she comes up with a couple of glasses, sits down on the chair next to you, and she goes, "Yes. See, I knew there was something special with your eyes." She leans over the table. "So who are you?"
My name is Carlos the Gunway. I am a attaché to the Senate. And yourself? You are a long way from Juneau. Is this your permanent posting?
She sighs. Yes, I take jobs wherever I can, and right now I was supposed to work as a employed here, but my employer left, and well, all I have to do is enjoy my stay here, which is paid, by the way, so it's all on the house. She looks a little nervous and looks to the door that she just entered from. So tell me, what are you really here for?
So I rolled awareness, by the way, and as soon as she hands Jericho the glass of Emisec, he lifts it to his lips, and he acts like he's drinking it, but he does not. And rather than drink it, he takes a sniff. And if it smells okay, it smells like there's nothing in it, then he takes a very, very small sip.
It doesn't smell that different. However, it does not smell like very high quality Amasec, which is a little strange considering the circumstances.
Sure.
It also has a little off color.
Off color like low quality Emisec, or off color like there's something in it?
Like Amasec doesn't have this color.
So he probably does not actually drink any. And so Jericho lowers the Emisec from his lips, and he says, "That's very good, thank you." As to what I'm actually here for, I am here to shepherd a set of rogue traders, a particular captain, who is, and he looks and he has this look on his face like it's not a bad duty, but it's perhaps not the best one he's ever had. He's almost commiserating, right? And he says, I'm trying to help them establish contacts and find business deals. The Senatorum very much wants to see outside investment, especially plantation or something like that. So, and he kind of shrugs and he's like, that's, really I'm looking for anything that a rogue trader would be interested in.
She coughs. I'm sorry. I think you misunderstood. There is no one listening. I took care of that. She looks over at one of the, where there's a listening device. And you notice a little device laying in front of it. And she turns back to you. No, really. I am a fixer. I get things for people. Important people. I am not a diplomat. She loosens her hair and lets down this thick white hair over her shoulders. So, what can I fix for you?
What kind of things can you get?
You name it.
So Jericho pauses for a long moment.
Do a scrutiny test. You get a +10. She's lying.
Yeah, I'm sure. Oh, I didn't add the +10 to that, by the way. Sorry.
Yeah.
She's lying about which part?
All of it. She's not a fixer.
Is she a diplomat?
No.
So Jericho, gives a little shrug, and he's like, I really don't know. I mean, I come from a rogue trader house. That's how I ended up on Aventine. But so far, this captain hasn't seemed interested in the kind of things that my captain were. But if I were to answer your question, I would say Aventine has some very unique local flora and fauna. And rogue traders pay very handsomely for the capture of such creatures. That would be something that I'm sure I could convince the captain to look into for his house. Is that the kind of thing you mean?
She sighs. you're hiding something from me.
Likewise, I know you're hiding something from me.
I'm quite inquisitive, you know. She
Mm.
puts the glass up to her mouth. She gives you a very wide smile.
Jericho just waits. He sits there after having said that he knows that she's hiding something as well. And he smiles back at her. And he kind of plays with his glass, but he doesn't drink any of it. And
She knows this.
he waits for that. He waits for her.
Yep. After a little while, she gives a little snicker and then stands up, walks over to the bed, and she goes into the room. What do you do?
Guess it's free con.
Yeah, probably not.
Run away.
What is there in the room?
You look around, and you can do a awareness test. I'm gonna give you a -10 on this.
I still have crystals.
Good stuff, dude. So, under the bed, there is some form of trigger device. And some kind of delivery system for a weapon, a springboard, a launcher, something.
Interesting. And she is going to the bed, or?
She's about to go into a different room.
Ah, I see. So the bed is in the room that I'm currently in.
Yeah. She walked over to the bed, that means you saw the bed, and then she is walking into sort of a room next to the bed, parallel with the bed.
Did she pick anything up or anything like that, or she just walked over to the bed and then walked off?
She walked over to the bed, she's looking down at her hand, and she's walking into the room. What do you do?
So I think I will say I will think about that for a couple minutes. Or does she appear like openly hostile?
She's trying to get the psychological edge on you. You get the feeling that she's trying to psych you out, and she was trying to get to who you were, and as soon as you obviously sniffed out that something was wrong about her, you didn't drink, and you sort of kept playing this role that she saw through, she immediately got up and changed demeanor and turned completely serious over to the bed, looks down in her hand, and then walks into the room. You notice this device under the bed. What do you do?
So as soon as she walks out of the room, the device, you said it's kind of a trigger or something like that, right?
Yeah.
So I want to like move over to the bed very quickly and then just very quickly inspect the device.
Yep.
With like tech use or something.
It's a form of it can deliver something. There's a trigger and an engine to deliver something into the room. Could be a gunshot, could be a cannon, could be air, could be a noise. You're not sure.
So I will take out my filtration plugs, and I will put them into my nose.
As soon as
And
you put the filtration plugs in your nose, you hear and this thick smoke comes out of the hole.
Sweet.
You're standing there just getting this air all over yourself, and I'm assuming you just reflexively go back, turn away from it.
Probably, yeah.
Cool. As soon as that happens, you see her come into the room wearing a rebreather. She has a gun in her hand. She
Cool.
points the gun at you and goes, "Get down!
So,
Don't move!"
yeah, that's probably not going to happen. So Jericho uses quick draw and his concealed las pistol, and in a moment he has got his las pistol out and he's pointed it at her, and you hear the dial of the power pack like flip up as he charges it.
Yes. She is aiming a gun at you, and you can see that she's shocked to see you standing there with the rebreather on. As you can roll initiative.
Sweet.
This is a one-on-one. We don't need to do any hocus pocus.
Oh, I don't have a token. Hang on one second.
Just roll it for yourself. Remember it.
I don't actually remember the way the Dark Heresy works. That's
It's
D10,
D10
D10 plus initiative bonus.
Plus initiative.
Sorry, I
plus agility.
yeah,
Okay.
Mhm.
Sorry.
So his is only a 6.
Okay, so she comes in. She has drawn a gun, and as soon as she sees you standing there, she recoils. You can see that she's very surprised. And a loud bang goes off behind you. Some kind of explosion. Everything happens in a sudden flash. Suddenly you hear this incredibly loud, air-ringing explosion. And you can do a toughness test.
Oh, that sucks.
You can...
Actually, you know what?
Can-
Can I? Well, no, I can't do it after the fact. Never mind.
do what?
I was just gonna say, can I spend a fate point to just give me plus 10? But I can't do that after the fact. So.
Mm. Well, we have a rule, don't we? 1 over means success. Or was that just requisition tests? I think it was requisition.
I think we just did that like that one time. Like
Yeah.
you know.
Well, that's me trying to be nice. Well, you don't succeed. Unfortunately, dude. You actually fall unconscious. Your body just turns stiff.
Was
Dun
a
dun dun.
super quiet explosion that no one in the hotel actually got disturbed.
Oh no, this is quite loud. And how many degrees of failure do you have? You have 1 degree of failure.
Yeah.
That means you're stunned for 1 round. You also have hallucinogenic effects. What are you seeing in your hallucination?
Wait,
Anything
how do I have hallucinogenic effects? Because I do have filtration plugs in.
Right, it seems to be just some visual thing that just blinds you, and then you're completely disoriented. The only thing you can do is sort of fall backwards. And
Oh, it's like a flashbang.
yeah.
Ah, okay. So yeah, it's just like really, really bright lights, and like everything has an aura, and you know, you almost get like tunnel vision, but it's like everything is white when you get hit by a flashbang, and you just really can't see. Your retinas get overloaded.
So you're standing there, everything is just different proportions, and everything is white, your vision is blurry, slowly starting to come back. And you're going to take 5 But it doesn't matter. 5 damage.
Okay.
Yes. So that doesn't do anything to you.
Correct.
She is going to.
But
try
just out of
to-
curiosity, like, where did he get hit?
in the chests.
Okay.
So the next thing is going to be a strength test. I want you to do a strength test. Gotcha.
Under about a 1.
Yeah. So you are. So this was an opposed test, depending on degrees of success. You get basically grappled, and she's holding you. She's incredibly strong. And it is your turn.
Okay. Am I actually grappled, or
You're actually grappled.
did she, like, just grab me?
Grappled.
Okay. So can I do, like, an acrobatics test to get out of that?
Yes.
There you go.
Awesome.
3
So
degrees of success.
You slip out of it. Slip out of her grasp.
Cool. So Jericho falls back, and so I am going to do 2 things. I am going to shoot and then move, and then I'm going to use the move and shoot talent to shoot again as a free action.
Nice.
Damn desperados.
Damn desperados. Hang on 1 second.
Indeed.
So that is the first one. And then the second one does not benefit from aim. That is the second one.
Alright, so you're walking backwards, firing 2 times. And how much damage you do? Nine and seven. Or is it added?
I must have accidentally hit it 3 times. So yeah, but yeah, it's 9 and 7. Sorry.
Okay. So she takes a couple of shots. Her dress flares open. You can see that she's wearing armor underneath. And she is going to walk over to you and try to grapple you.
She just wants to hug you. Stop shooting her. She just wants to hug you. Man.
I know, right?
Yeah, she was my favorite wife.
And at this point, I actually need to look up the rule. Because we gotta do this real the way it's meant to be. Let's see. The way it's written. Well, let's see who finds it first.
I'm not sure what rule you're looking for, bro.
Yeah, well, you're looking for a rule, but you haven't actually told us what
I
rule
said-
you're looking for.
I said I'm looking for the grappling rule.
Oh, I see.
My mic must have got out. Let's see.
So
This is the worst
basically-
thing of every RPG system, basically. Let's see. Grapple various. I'm gonna page.
It's page 221.
221.
It's the
See.
last one, 221, basically.
Yeah. This is like a staple in every RPG we play. Fucking
Or just
grappling
like-
rules.
Can't remember a rule, so I had to spend.
No, I think you did it right. So because I did a
No,
slip
not
out
not
action.
that. Just that grappling rules suck in every RPG.
Oh
Oh, I
yeah,
see.
yeah, yeah, they do.
Well, there's no real way you can write it down that would make sense.
I have it
in
written
every
down.
scenario.
At the moment when I was doing it, my Control F did not work in that document. Which is
Oh
why
no,
we
no.
have
I
to
mean,
look it up here.
I'm talking about from the point of view of someone writing an RPG. Actually,
Oh,
writing down
like
rules
that.
to grapple can be quite complicated and a bit obtuse.
Yeah, you can make it very simple. I mean, 5e has it super simple.
Yeah.
The control of the grapple gun domain opposed strength. So that's what we did. We're going to
Yeah. No,
Cool.
you did it right
we did
last
it
time.
correctly. Let's do another opposed. All right. So
Again, I succeed.
So she has a bunch of feats, obviously, a bunch of strength, a lot of strength, and you take 9. No, sorry, plus strength bonus.
Think.
So that would be.
Is she punching him or
Well,
squeezing him?
So if the active character wins, he inflicts unarmed damage to the body location
I think they're wrestling right now.
and 1 level of fatigue.
Yeah.
So you take then 8 damage to your body and 1 level of fatigue. You previously took 1 level of fatigue, so you're at 2. Okay, so these are the options: throw down, push.
So wait. So the thing is she has to declare a grapple, right?
Yeah.
And then if we're already in a grapple, then she gets to do damage. So declaring the grapple is a full action, which that's where we make the opposed strength test.
And then she
which I
deals the
fail.
damage. Yeah.
And then next round, she deals damage. I get to try and slip away
Yeah.
and then do my action.
Right.
So she doesn't actually get to do damage yet,
Yeah. She's grappling you.
which means I'm going to shoot her in the face.
Cool.
But I'm guessing this is the first level of
I
fatigue.
will
still
reroll
counts.
that.
You're using a fate
Yeah,
point?
the level
So you're
of
using a
fatigue,
fate point, or do you have a?
I'm just going to
inspiration?
reroll that with inspiration
Oh, cool.
because I'm not doing damage.
This is just to get out of the grapple, right? Ooh.
Oh, wow.
Oh fuck.
Ouch. Well, you're still grappled.
Yeah.
You managed to give her a stronger handhold.
Yeah.
That is
Just to check, fatigue
Yeah.
is strength and toughness bonuses added together, right? Or have I got that wrong?
That should be correct, yeah. I
Okay.
think so. Let's see. No. Grapple target
I was just
options.
looking at my
So you can
fatigue.
break free, slip free, take control. Those are the things you can
I
do.
think that's all I get to do this
That's
round.
all you get to do, yeah. Grapple target options. If the active target will grapple, the first thing you do is half action. Choose one of the following options. Those are the only options you can take. Cool. You've tried it. Didn't
Yep.
work. And she is going to throw you down. First, she's going to deal the damage, which is... How much was it?
8. I believe
8.
You said.
So you take 8 damage to the body. And then... Let's see, this is another opposed. Oh, okay. Let's see how you're doing this.
Remember, don't wrestle in Warhammer.
No, it's way too
Well,
complex. The rules
I
are
think-
super advanced.
I think don't wrestle someone who's got 2 bionic arms would also be a
Yeah, and
good.
like looks like a fucking raptor legs, like Chun-Li legs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Your head is
something.
kind of between her
That's
thighs.
all I heard.
What's going on? now?
Or Tammy, any of the Street Fighter women basically has just like
The woman
50-inch wide, 50-inch circumference thighs.
from. Yeah. How's it going? With
Sorry,
your
so what are we doing? Are we doing
opposed strength?
Oh, okay. I cannot actually win in this strength. Can we? Can I?
You can.
Like, even if I roll a 1?
No, you can absolutely win with. Yeah, you can win with 1 degree of success, with a barely success if she rolls low. I currently this time I rolled 11 in my natural roll, and her
It's gonna be hard to break.
strength is off the chart.
Okay. Well, I was gonna say, like, if we just want to make this go faster, we could just say that I failed a opposed strength test.
Let's run through the combat. I want to do that if you don't mind.
Do it to
Okay.
the end.
Okay. So also for it's fun to go through this once with the grappling rules, since we haven't really done it before.
It's unlikely we're going to do it again either, given the way this is going.
I'm gonna write it down for next time. But there's a reason we've never done this before. So the controller can choose to end the grapple. No, why would you do that? Continue to grapple, prone opponent, gain 10 plus for all. Okay.
So it goes
She
to like
threw
the
her
next
down.
round, right?
Yeah, so it gets with
So I
plus
get to
10
toss
next
down the
round.
ground.
Yep.
Yeah.
Next round is going to be plus 10 for all opposed tests until the prone opponent manages to stand. But it's in addition to the normal plus 10 gained when attacking prone opponents. Okay.
So now she's at plus 20.
Yeah. She is going to punch you. So hold on. That is an action, isn't it? Throw down?
Yeah,
So
throw
she
down is an
already-
action and damage is an action.
Exactly. So
So I
she's
think she can only
already-
do one of those? Or
So let's
does
see.
she
If
do...
the active character wins the opposed test, he inflicts unarmed damage 1d5 minus 3 plus SP. So that's automatic
okay.
by them winning the first one, then you damage the opponent. The second one was to throw you down. So the damage did happen the first time.
Okay.
And then the second round you're thrown down, and then it's your turn. What can you do? So you can break
it's all
free,
acrobatics.
slip free, take control.
And I will spend a fate point this time.
Yeah.
Okay. So Jericho breaks free. And he is going to do the same thing as before. So obviously he's,
Breaking free
Wait,
is... Sorry. Breaking free is an opposed strength test.
I'm not breaking free, I'm slipping away.
Slip free, the attacking... Challenging acrobatics.
Yeah.
Plus, sorry,
It's
and perform any action. Okay.
plus 0.
Cool. Awesome.
So shoot in the face, basically. What we do.
Yeah.
Yes. So I am, going to stand up, which I think is a half action and a move action. And then I am going to use move and shoot again.
One question now. The first thing the grappled target must do is to declare a grapple as a half action. This is a penalty for being grappled. Then standing up is another half action.
Yes.
Yep. However, I have an ability that anytime
Right.
I make a move action, I get
Yes.
to have a free shot at the end of the round,
Right,
as long as
right.
I'm using a pistol.
Gotcha. Do it.
He's a gunslinger.
Yeah, we remember this with Torganon. Fucking eradicated everyone.
I also
Yes.
forgot to roll my extra damage
Mm.
in the last couple rounds.
Gotcha.
Because I'm doing this with... So that
Mm.
shot, even though it's 3, if I added my other ones, it would be 5,
5.
7,
Gotcha.
9.
Yeah.
No, it'd be 9.
Left leg.
To the left leg. So you immediately grapple loose, pull out your gun, and you just fire in a reaction right down at the leg. You see it flinch back, fly back. But she's just, like I said, unnaturally strong. It even looks like her leg might be bionic.
Is she just like just off topic? Is she like in RoboCop or something?
She's pretty nasty. She declares a grapple again. It's not looking good. Do your thing.
So again, post strength then.
Yeah.
Nope.
No. She throws herself to the ground. You take... This time it's gonna be 4 damage. So
Well, so
you are now grappled.
the ironic thing is that she's not actually hurting me.
No.
She's tiring you out. Though.
She's tossing
she's
you
tiring me
around.
out.
This is dealing fatigue damage. Slowly but surely. So you're taking now 3 levels of fatigue. You're basically standing up, firing, being tossed down. She grabs you, pulls you down to the ground, and the wind just is knocked out of you every time.
Does it count like a very weird type of sex?
This is if you're really into some freaky S&M action.
Wow.
And,
Oh wow, that
Alright.
didn't, it improved.
Whoosh.
So the next round.
Next round, let's do this quickly. Post. So this is the throwdown.
She wins.
She wins.
Yep.
Da-da-da. She gets a plus 20 on all further checks. Your turn. You're thrown down to the ground.
Yep, I'm just doing my fatigue real quick.
Yep.
Hang on.
I'm just imagining just Jericho just like, could you not?
Yes.
Not.
Could you stop fucking throwing me down to the ground again and again? And then he slips through again. This scene is kind of ridiculous. I'm just picturing it in my head, like, Jesus Christ. Okay. That's
so
gonna be a
that's
hit.
that's
12
better.
damage.
Whee.
So
Excellent.
that's a hit to the right leg this time.
Right leg for 12 damage. Yeah, so she grunts in pain as she rushes towards you again. Are you counting for the fatigue levels?
I think you're on 4
Yeah.
now, right?
Yep. Cool.
I still have plenty of fatigue left. So
Awesome.
she's got to have some serious armor on.
Well, she is quite tough. She is going to grapple you. Surprise, surprise.
You're committed to this bit, aren't you?
That's all she can do. I mean,
Does she not have a gun?
nope.
Oh, damn.
She
No,
threw it
she
away.
did.
That was just a prop.
Weird woman.
Yeah. She's she seems kind of into this whole thing.
Now all I've got now is fucking Goldeneye. That's all I'm seeing now.
Yes,
is Goldeneye.
exactly. Not to make light of Jericho's difficult situation here, but
Zinnia on a top.
Zin on a
Nice.
top. Jesus Christ. So let's see here. Okay, so this is another thing that she can do.
At least you didn't jam it, Jess.
Yeah, but I'm burning through all my fate points, right?
Yep. Okay, so
right leg again.
For 9.
for 9. Awesome. Shot goes off. Again, she flinches and is going to attack you. That is-
How much? You didn't tell me how much damage she did to me, though.
I
I just
didn't
kinda
roll this
ran
one.
through
Yeah,
that
yeah, sure.
to-
I probably
No,
didn't
you
roll. Let's roll for it. So that's going to be 7 damage to the chest.
Cool.
Yes. You fire back at her, and then she's going to. Right now, she's just like screaming. Her hair is wild to all sides, and she's just gonna punch you basically. And that's going to be a very good hit. That's going to be 9 damage to the. That's actually going to be the head.
Unfortunately, I dodged,
Nice. So
and I realized I should have dodged all of her grapple attempts. That was my bad.
but she gets like 5 degrees of success though, I think. Does that?
I think the dodge is just a roll. Like, I don't think it's opposed. I think it's just if I succeed.
There is
Right,
a skill
it's-
that you can. There is a skill that you can apply your degrees of success.
That's what I'm
against,
thinking of, yeah. And also, if you
um,
get multiple hits, it depends on your degree of success on the dodge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Coolio.
So she does not punch me?
Or does she fail
Hold
to
on.
grapple you?
Just reading something. Okay. Gotcha. No. She tries to punch you, and then she yells out, "Who are you working for?"
Who does number
So,
2 work for?
Jericho just dodges to the side of her punch, and hang on, let me do this. So he's going to do the same thing, but because she didn't grapple him and throw him to the ground, he is going to move shoot.
So wait, hang. You're kind of doing a Tomb Raider thing now. You're just firing guns, jump back, firing guns, jump back.
Thanks for reminding me of dodging, by the way.
Oh, me too, right?
That's gonna be useful.
Uh,
The first
see-
hit is dodged. So So, gun goes off.
That's cool.
She
That's why I got
dodges.
2.
Oh,
Oh, I'm glad she dodged the first one.
You don't need to roll damage if she dodges. So. The second one hits.
Yeah. So
nice.
she
Right
does 11.
Awesome. Where is
right
it?
leg. Right leg.
Right leg. So she gets hit in the right leg, flinches back again. You can see her armor and a huge bionic leg sort of tear up. Bionic leg. She is going to grapple you. Opposed.
So, when she said, "Who are you working for?"
Yeah.
Jericho, calmly draws a bead, and even though she dodges, he just tracks her through the room until his next shot hits her in the leg, and he says, "I work for the Senate. Not that it's going to matter after I kill you."
Nice.
He
You get-
said it
you get an
like he
inspiration
wasn't
point.
thrown on the floor 3 times.
Yeah, absolutely. So she tried to
I
grapple.
just got the
Opposed.
impression that he's basically allowed her to do that. Like he's allowed her to keep doing it. Just like, I'll give her a shot, see what she can do.
Yeah.
I'm bored of this now. Blam, 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 blam.
Cozy throws. Opposed.
I'm gonna dodge it, and I
Oh
will use
no,
inspiration.
no, you're not.
Can you dodge a grapple?
Yes, you can dodge
How
grab.
many
Yeah, it's an
expressions
attack action.
you have?
And I did.
Nice. Alright, so she's gonna try to grapple. You're gonna push her aside, and she's standing right next to you. What do you do?
Same thing. You just move, shoot, move.
Yeah.
Or
So you're
shoot,
now-
move, shoot.
Gotcha.
How big is the room you're currently in?
It's very small. You're sort of in the corner of the room.
They're just running around one couch.
Yeah, the room is trashed by now. Completely trashed.
Yeah, bullets, las burns everywhere. Right, again, that's a hit to the left leg. What is it with you in the legs?
You're
I'm just
firing at the
saying.
same leg again and again and again.
Actually.
2 times.
Did she dodge either of those?
She
Ah.
dodges the first one.
Okay, so I'll just roll damage for the second one then. Right?
Yeah, always just roll for what you hit.
Okay,
So this
so he
one's on the
does
left leg.
6.
6 damage. Okay.
Left leg.
Same thing happens. Leg flies back. And she is going to run up and grapple you. Do the thing.
One of you is gonna get tired at this point.
Yeah, he dodged.
Oh, God. Okay, so she runs up, tries to grapple you. You jump out of the way. And it's your turn.
Ring around the posy.
It's like a musical chair, but with only one chair.
Should we start playing some Benny Hill music? Oh, a different shot, different target this time. So that one hit the 38. So that one,
Isn't that the arm?
the first shot hit the torso, and the second shot hit the right leg.
Nice. None in the body or head.
No, one in the torso. So one in the
Gotcha.
body, one in the leg. So the
Yeah.
first hit was the body, second hit was leg.
Yeah. So this is like being attacked by a horrible monster. Every time you shoot her legs, you can tell that they're tougher than obviously. Meaning
Yeah.
they have more armor.
Oh,
I
I'm
think-
sure. I'm not doing much damage. It's just a last pistol.
Did you dodge?
Yeah, did she
She tried to dodge, she misses. So she does not dodge any attacks.
So
So Jericho does 6, 9, 15.
I'm reading a thing.
Wait, those are like 2 separate.
so he does 6 to the torso, 6 to the body. Sorry, 6 to the body, 9 to the was the left leg? No,
Left
right
leg.
leg. Right leg.
Right leg this time, yeah.
Right leg.
Mm.
Yeah, I think
Gotcha.
I get the impression that Jericho's just trying to slow her down.
Yeah.
Apparently,
Slow down
I
the charge.
I really like the whole tossing around thing, and I'm really just trying to,
Stop.
I think you
maneuver
guys
her towards the bed with my
You
last
know what
pistol.
to do. Opposed
are
strength.
gonna be like best friends.
I'm just getting the impression, like
Nope.
Yep. You are thrown to the ground.
I dodged.
So I looked it up, and there's a thing, according to the core rules, grapple may be initiated, blah blah blah. The defender may not dodge. A defender can spend a reaction and roll, blah blah blah, but cannot use the dodge skill.
So what? So reaction is like a
Wait.
shoot kind of.
Where is that?
It's saying here, I just Google it. According to the core rules, page 197 and 190. A grapple may be initiated with an unarmed attack or a charge. Another carnival.
197?
197.
I think you might
199.
be looking
Seems
at
strange.
the... Yeah, that's in the psychic power thing, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you might be talking about Dark Heresy 1.
Here we go, second edition. Alright.
197 is the Perils of the Warp chart.
Yeah, I didn't read that part. So let's see. Okay, we can look it up later. So
I'll look at while you guys are fighting.
awesome. When you are moving away from her, do you provoke attacks of opportunity? That is,
I don't think
Is that a thing?
attacks... Not
Is that a
really,
thing?
I don't think so.
no.
You are
Okay.
disengaging from melee, and that's the only thing that you were supposed to.
Technically, I don't have to disengage from melee. I just have to take a move action. And so I don't ever have to, like, move out of her range to fire, because I'm using a pistol. So I can fire in melee combat,
Yeah,
right?
you can. You absolutely can.
Then you have like minute 30 for firing.
Right,
at
okay.
melee.
Right. Okay,
There
guys.
we go. There we go.
The attack. So this is grappling. Okay.
Yes.
The attacker makes a weapon skill test as normal. The target of the grapple may use a reaction if able to avoid the attack. So Morton, you've got to hit first before the grapple starts. Once the grapple
Yes.
starts, no reactions can be made. But you have to
Yeah.
hit him first. If you hit, the grapple starts. If you miss or he dodges, grapple fails.
So what we've been playing with the whole time, basically.
No, because you were going straight into opposed.
Yeah. You're not
No,
actually
no.
trying to hit me.
No, I'm rolling to hit first.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
In that case, yes. What you've been doing is fine.
Cool.
You initiate
Cool.
the grapple. He dodges or he doesn't dodge.
Yes.
Blah blah blah. That's basically how it works.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Then let's continue. So I
Cool.
believe it's your time to shoot.
It is.
It's a good thing we did this whole thing. Didn't just say
you
you
don't know,
can. She can grab me. Alright.
So there's the first one.
So you fire again.
20.
Let me guess, the leg.
No, that's the arm. Right arm.
Oh god.
No, right, left arm. Yeah, the arm's mixed up.
One headshot
Left
is
arm.
all you need.
Left arm and then body.
Nice.
So the first one does 4, the second one does 9.
Gotcha. Yep. Limbs fling back. She jumps on you, and she is going to attack you. Dodge.
Okay, hang on 1 second, because I gotta plug my computer in.
Sure.
Oh, you're using a laptop, are you?
Yeah, my
This might
battery's
take the
low.
yeah. This is taking the rest of the session basically.
Yeah.
This
It's getting late.
I think it's
It's
worth
1
it
o'clock
though.
for you, right?
I think it's
Yeah.
worth it though. It's a funny scene.
That's
I've
instructional.
literally
Yeah.
got into my PJs and I've wrapped around myself and I'm just like slowly sleeping while I listen.
Listening to the tense
I
wrestling
kinda chuckled a
match.
little, and then my neighbor started to bang walls.
Oh,
Wow, really?
Is she
Yeah.
is she just grappling me, or is she just hitting me?
she's just hitting you.
That's fine, I'll take it.
They said that they started
Oh.
banging walls again.
Are they getting
You take
angry?
10 damage.
Okay.
Where'd you hit?
This time it is to the. That will be the right arm.
Okay.
So as you're
Okay,
holding your
imagine
arm
being
out,
hit by a bionic is something
She-
like
she's
being hit by a
basically-
steel bar.
as you're holding your arm out, she's pinning it to the wall and then trying to ram it with her leg.
She
And
loves her leg.
yeah, so she's kicking you
She
really hard in the
gets
arm.
in your arms.
Does this hurt at all? Does this hurt you at all, Jericho?
Now, Jericho is still just lightly damaged.
But have you taken any damage?
Yeah, he's taken a couple points of damage.
Okay.
That last hit especially.
Gotcha.
So Jericho
that's
is going to
gonna
do his thing,
Yes.
and he's going to do something a little bit different. He is going to do a cold shot to the head.
Ooh, very nice.
Wait, I thought you were grappled.
No, he's not.
And he shoots her in the head.
Nice. 4.
Oh, I was going to see if you dodged it.
Yep, she does.
I mean, it doesn't really matter because I'm going to do another cold shot to the head, so...
You can't do, I think, cold shots in the thingy. Like, move and shoot.
No, cool shot
no,
is a
because
half
it says I
action.
get to make a standard attack action.
I think a cold shot is more than just a half action, dude. I think you have to prepare it with a half action and then use half action to shoot.
I will check.
Yep.
No, it says it makes the attack following all the rules for standard attacks. Well, so I guess it's not technically a standard attack, so he just shoots her the second time. Which, I mean, it doesn't really matter. He still hit, even with the lower... So I'll just do the cold shot the first time then.
But the first attack that you did this turn, right, was a cold shot,
Yes, that's
And
fine. That's
she-
a full action.
and she dodged that.
Cold shot is a full action?
Yes, cool shot is full action.
Oh,
Basically,
you're
it's,
right.
It's
Yeah.
an attack
Yeah.
that has a -20 penalty, but it counts as a full action.
No, so that's a good point. So if that's a full action, then I can't use move and shoot. So I would just do a normal attack, move, and then shoot again. I'd rather shoot
Okay.
twice.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's fine. You can do that
So-
retroactively. You didn't know the rules, so it's fine.
Yeah, I just did 7 points of damage to 85. I think that's her leg.
That's like
Yep, left leg.
Which is this is not like all
right leg.
covered in black marks and burning slightly. There's sparks coming out of it, and she's just lunging over the thing. And Jesus Christ, what does that mean? Yeah, no, opposed strength. Let's just do it normally. She rolled a 1 basically.
Well,
Oof.
I
Roll
still
one
got a
to hit.
dodge.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I dodge.
Seems odd though, doesn't it?
Right, I will now look up dodge just to make sure that we're understanding
But
everything.
doesn't it seem a little odd? The whole thing. I know you can be specialized for grappling. Maybe there's something to change it. No. Alright. So she's gonna basically run up and try to grapple you. Let's
No,
go
it just
for-
says if you succeed on the test, you get out of the way at the last moment.
No?
It just
Oh.
says you make a dodge or parry test.
Alright.
Yeah, but there is a talent that gives you your degrees of success against their dodge as a penalty. So that might be what you're trying. Might be-
Interesting.
Alright. Your turn, Jericho. By the way, she is injured. She is very injured. So you are
Yes.
taking her down slowly.
There's a few shots to the
Very-
chest of.
Very,
Jump.
very slowly. Very.
Well, the same applies to her, really, doesn't it? Like he's
Yeah.
very slowly taking
Yeah.
him out as well.
It's more exhaustion, really.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a solid hit. So she's gonna try to dodge.
Oh, he misses. He misses the second
she
time.
dodges the
Oh,
first hit. So the first
Yep,
one is a
he missed the
dodge.
second one.
And then she is going to run up. You know what's gonna happen. Posts. If you
Nope.
don't dodge, of course. Yeah. So she tries to grapple you. You immediately get out of the way, and it's your turn. I think we can automate the battle by now. If you can use dodge with grapple, that is basically what she's gonna do, and just run after you, try to grab you. And for some reason, even though she's much stronger than you, you're just jumping out of the way constantly while shooting her, jumping in a circle in the room. And at the end of it, she basically collapses next to the wall. Both of you totally exhausted, and she's just breathing heavily What do you want to do?
Oh, I got a critical hit that time too.
What do you want to do?
Is she dead?
No, you just kind of basically just both flop to the floor.
So Jericho like sits down on the couch and he's breathing heavily and he's got his last pistol in his hand and he checks the charge on his last pistol and he's like he pulls out another charge back, ejects the one, puts the other one in and he's like, "You want to call it a truce? How about a draw?"
Excellent. You sit there looking at her across the bed. The bed is just messy, full of blood. There's sparks, there's a little fire. The room is filled with smoke. And although it's completely sealed, you know that you've made a lot of noise. There doesn't seem to be anyone outside though. And you know that it's very tightly air sealed. And you sort of sit there for a little while, her breathing heavily. And then she goes, Where is the artifact? Tell me.
Lady, I don't know the fuck you're talking about, but the only artifact I see right now is my last pistol. So you better start fucking talking.
She starts laughing.
Because I'm done playing.
I know you are after it. I know you work with the Inquisition.
Why would you think that? Of all the fucking things to think, why would you think that?
I have contacts too, you know. She smiles, look up at you.
Your contacts are wrong. But, I will tell you who I work for. If you tell me who you work for.
Of course. The
I
Lord
think you're
Inquisitor, Consustula. She stands up and she takes out the Inquisitorial rosette.
Damn.
Oh.
Dun dun dun!
Jericho, like, winces visibly and he's like, oh. Oh.
Is she the Inquisitor or is she working for the Inquisitor? I kind of got confused a little bit there.
This and more will be revealed on the next episode of...
Oh no, we have to wait a week. I can't wait a week.
You have to. That's where we're gonna end, guys.
God.
Thanks